Tumeingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again for another amazing episode, another amazing moment. And the principle remains Kamakawa, Kamadawa. Please tell me if you are getting me, because tonight we are going to have an amazing conversation. And tonight I am your host, Shadizu, and I'll be joining other panelists on the show so that we can have a good and an amazing talk all inside our show tonight. And I welcome you all with wholeheartedly, reminding you that this is Sound Candy Talk, the home of everyone, where we are being enabled to speak and we are being heard. I see already people are beginning to fill up the studio, where I appreciate for those who are coming up the studio. And if you are there, you are not joining up the studio, please use the link on the comment section, join up the studio so that you cannot be remaining behind, and then you cannot come while we are closing, so that you can have a moment to chat, you can have a moment to give your opinion, you can have a moment to give your views. And on today's panel, we will be having a controversy a little bit, but an amazing conversation, whereby number one thing that we'll be looking into is the speeches for our President Ruto, saying that Gachagua is corrupted, and he's some little few things all about what's going on. But after even speaking it or what driving it so much, also sees Kalonzo responding towards it. Apart from Kalonzo responding towards it, we also see Gachagua raising up the issue of the mountain again. So the mountain politics kicking on again. So we'll be also checking that. Not without forgetting our poll question tonight. And our poll question tonight is very simple. It's asking, who do you feel is good and capable to take or to address the issues that face Kenyans, or the issues that Kenyans we are facing? Also, that will be checking it, and we'll be checking more details towards that, because also it's part of the conversation that will be looking and checking more details towards that also. So I want to welcome you, everyone. I want to welcome everyone on board. Let us feel free to share our opinion and to share our conversation. With me inside the studio, I'll be having also Douglas will be joining me up. I see Mama is inside the studio, and also Mama Selina is already arrived. So I want to welcome you, everyone. Let us feel free to join up and come. Let us have the conversation, because today is another day that we need to speak, all of us, so that we can also, all of us, come to agreement with having a one accord conversation and making sure that Kenyans goes ahead, but not remaining where we are, and not slugging where we are, or where people feel Kenya should be, and where Kenya is supposed to be at a good and a better place, because we are the best country ever. And as we are the best country, today I want to urge everyone, let us make sure that we are proving that we are the best. As Kenya, as the nation, we are the best. And today I want everyone to come to agreement and to prove that we are the best. But before we go on, let me bring up Msimamo and Mama Selena to say hi to us. Let me begin with Msimamo. Msimamo, hali vipi?
Bwana safi Shalizo. Mambo anasemaje studio hapo?
Hapa studio tuko wazima. Leo naona tumejaja mapema ili tuanze kipindi mapema.
Yenyewe bwana, sometimes pia na sisi tunachukuliwa kwa kusubiri sana. Mara unajipata pia umechukuliwa, ukiamka kumekucha, sasa saa 12 utakutana na shuka. Yaani kumekucha, yeah. Saa 12 ndio unatazama shuka liko wapi. Sasa si maajabu hayo ya Musa.
Haya, karibu basi kwa studio. Acha tumsaidie mama Selina tusalimie. Mama Selina, Shikamoo. Mama Selina, unanipata? Natumai Mama Selina ananipata, naona na atatupata tu akirejea hapa, na naona tunazidi kusonga vyema na nazidi kuwakaribisha nyote ambao mnajiunga na sisi. Wale wote ambao mnatamani kuingia studioni, link ipo comment section, nitakuwa naipitia pia na nitakuwa nasoma pia comment zenyu. Unaweza changia maoni yako kwa comment section. Tuko live kwa Sound Candy Talk Facebook, tuko live Sound Candy Talk YouTube, Sound Candy Talk live pia YouTube, na pia unaruhusu kukaribisha mtu ili tuweze kuungana pamoja na tuweze kujadiliana pamoja kiundani zaidi, ili tujue ni nini swala lipi ambalo linaleta kizaza na ni yapi ambayo yanatokea zaidi mwaso hapa Kenya, na tujue tunajenga vipi. Na leo kinachotuleta kwa mada ya siku, wacha tuanzie hii. Rais katoa ahadi zingine zaidi na kaambia Wakenya mambo mengine zaidi, na wacha tuanze kuona hii na tuone hii kukinzana na hii kujibizana inatoka wapi haswa na inaenda wapi, na nani wakulaumiwa, nani ambaye anajibu, nani ambaye anasukuma hili, nani ambaye anarudisha na hili. Manake leo hii yamechacha moto, mingine yamepamba moto, lakini leo lazima tutayaweka wazi na tujue ni yapi ambaye anajiri. Na tukianza kabisa, tuanze na ahadi ya rais kwa watu wa Mumias na wakulima aswa wa miwa. Tuanze na hii.
Rais William Ruto yuko ziarani eneo la Mumias ambapo amekutana na wakulima wa miwa. Aidha, wakulima wanatarajiwa kupata bonasi kwa mara ya kwanza. Hem, tusikize yanayoendelea katika sehemu hii.
Are you halfway? No. What do you do?
Hiyo ni hapo jana akiwaahidi wakulima wa miwa kwamba atawapa kwamba bonus, na anasema lazima bonus kwa na lazima kuwa na mikakati. Wacha tumsikize Kalonzo akijibu rais.
In time, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has called on President William Ruto to explain the source of the bonus funds given to sugarcane farmers in Mumias, insinuating that the money is coming from the exchequer and saying it must be accounted for. He also raised concerns about alleged planned irregularities in the voter registration process for the 2027 contest. Take a listen.
Wait a minute, Mr. President. This 150 million, by the way, too little. Imagine 150 million shillings. Where are you getting this money from? It's not in our budget. It is not that Peter Salasya doesn't want his constituents to benefit. But first of all, he acknowledges it's like a handout, it's like a bribe, yeah? And if it is a bonus, it needs to come through the processes. These are the days of accountability. And we hope William Ruto's administration is not going to register aliens as voters. We suspect there could be plans underfoot to register aliens, non-Kenyans, as voters in Kenya.
Basi ndio hiyo, majibu yanazidi kutokea na ingine yanazidi kuulizwa, manake hayo ndio yanayojiri na yale yanayotokea, na si wa Kenya wote tuweze kuungana pamoja ili tuweze kuona haya ambayo yanajiri ni ya ukweli, na kama rais anayeyatoa hatayatimiza ama ni ya uongo.
Zetu kutoka hapa Nairobi, Daudi Agondoa yuko upande mwingine wa studio. Rais William Ruto na mbunge wa Mumias Mashariki Salasya hii leo amerushiana cheche za maneno, huku akitofautiana vikali kuhusu utendakazi wa serikali. Kwenye vuta ni kuvuta hiyo, Salasya amemwambia Rais Ruto kuwa Wakenya wengi wamekasirika naye na kwamba washauri wake wanamdanganya, huku naye Rais Ruto akimuita Salasi alimbukeni wa siasa na kuahidi kumweka kwenye laini. Mwanahabari wetu wa masuala ya kisiasa David Modhoka sasa tupe taarifa hiyo.
Hafla ya kuwapa wakulima wa miwa katika eneo la Magharibi marupurupu kwa mara ya kwanza iliyofanyika katika eneo la Mumias, kaunti ya Kakamega, iligeuka kuwa uga wa makabiliano kati ya mbunge wa Mumias East Peter Salasia na Rais William Ruto.
Hao watu wako wakuambiangi ukweli. Wanakuambia saa inafanya kazi na haifanyi kazi. Wanakuambia new model inafanya kazi na haifanyi kazi.
Huku akiuma na kupuliza, bunge huyo hakuachia mashambulizi yake hapo.
Mimi nataka Bwana Rais unichukue mimi, nikuwe personal advisor wako, unilipe. Kwa sababu hao wakora wamekudanganya ukafinya payslip ya Mkenya. And that's why you see Kenyans are bitter with you, Mheshimiwa Rais.
Matamshi haya yalionekana kumkera Rais alipopanda kwenye jukwaa.
Salasi, wewe uko na kazi. Hawa watu wamekuajiri kazi. Alafu wewe utaki hawa hata na wao wapate kazi. Hiyo ni ungwana kweli? Hata wengine ambao mnasikia wanalalamika hapa mambo ya SHA, ni kwa sababu leo wanalipa zaidi kuliko vile walikuwa wanalipa. Sasa badala ya kujitetea kusema mimi sitaki kulipa ile mimi nalipa, anaanza kusema raia wamekataa. Raia ulikutana nao wapi wakakataa?
Ruto hakukomea hapo.
Huyu nitamsaidia, unajua ni pange mpaka atashika laini. Unajua ni kijana mzuri Msione na mnyorosha tu kidogo ndio ajue vile tu.
Kando na Salasia, Ruto pia alishambuliana na seneta wa Kakamega Boni Halwale kuhusiana na ndoa ya kisiasa kati ya chama cha UDA na ANC.
The leadership of the two parties, they have never come to tell us what they are doing, where they are taking us. That is not the way to lead people. I therefore want clarity on the way we are going to partner in the politics of Kenya.
You are supposed to know. Wewe wacha hizo. Ama namna gani? Si ndio, si huyu ni kiongozi. Sasa chief whip ya serikali Kenya mzima ndio huyu.
Ruto aidha akiwajibu wakosoaji wake mitandaoni.
Watu tawanyorosha asubuhi na mapema. Watu wako na kazi ngumu sana. Kushindana na mimi, wako na kazi ngumu. Wako na kibarua kubwa sana. Na bado mimi napanga tu kazi. Siku yenye tunaangaliana hata siasa kwa maneno.
Leo ni siku ya pili ambayo Rais Ruto amekuwa Magharibi kwenye ziara ya kimaendeleo ya wiki nzima katika eneo hilo. David Modhoka, NTV.
President William Ruto says his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua was, quote, incompetent, corrupt and tribal, and had to be shown the door sooner rather than later. Now, speaking during his visits to Vihiga, Busia, and Kakamega counties today, the head of state said his agenda to unite the country is, quote, unstoppable. Your very own Emmanuel Toe kicks off our bulletin tonight. Take a listen.
He's letting the cat out of the bag, albeit cautiously, on the struggles that ended his 2-year political marriage with his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
Hebu nione kwa mikono, Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Wednesday, President William Ruto adding incompetence and corruption to the list of the reasons why the center could hold no more.
Kuna wengine tuliwapatia kazi because of incompetence, kwa sababu haelewi chochote, kwa sababu ni watu wa wizi, watu ambao ni matapeli, watu ambao ni wafisadi, watu ambao wako na chuki, wanagawanya watu. Hiyo biashara yao ilizama. Na mimi nataka niwaambie watazama na kuzama na kuzama, kwa sababu Kenya haina nafasi ya wafisadi, watu ambao hawajui kufanya kazi, na watu wa kugawanya watu kwa mambo ya ukabila.
Hey! The head of state who addressed a charged crowd in Luanda Market in Vihiga County, adding that Gachagua was derailing the country's development agenda, which led to his ouster as deputy president.
We have no time for tribalists and people who are incompetent and those who want to divide our nation on ethnic, parochial, personal lines. We are united as a people, and Kenya is going to march forward.
Hii serikali ni ya maendeleo na hii ni maendeleo ya kila sehemu ya Kenya. Hii sio serikali ya ubaguzi. Ni serikali ya kunufaisha mwananchi mahali alipo.
Ushaona mtu ambaye anabishana na mwenzake, wanamaliza kwa uwanja, yeye ni rais, lakini ananyosha mkono, anasema ndugu yangu, tulibishana kwa siasa, lakini kuja tufanye kazi pamoja. Amefanya hivyo na Mheshimiwa Raila ama hajafanya?
The sentiments supported by some of the legislators from the Mount Kenya region who trashed Gachagua's push to unite the region.
Sasa mimi nikirudi Nairobi, huko kwa mitandao, iko wengine nasikia wakisema ati Ruto must go. Go where? Nikirudi huko, niwaambie watu wa Luanda, mumesema Ruto must go on.
Yule jamaa alinipea mitego kwamba nipeleke kule State House ninase Raila Odinga. Lakini mimi sio mjinga. Iyo mitego nikabeba, sikupeleka State House. Iyo mitego nikapeleka kwake wa Munyoro. Ikatega yeye.
Hey! Hey.
This comes as President Ruto called on Kenyans to register for the Social Health Authority en masse, maintaining it is the solution to the healthcare problems in the country.
Hatutaki tena Mkenya aende hospitali ati anauza mali yake ama anauza ng'ombe yake ati kwenda kulipa bili ya hospitali.
Ruto held other rallies in Kakamega and Busia counties where he initiated several projects, including hospitals, roads and markets. The Western Tour continues Thursday. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV.
That's how things are on the ground, and that's how things are moving on. And what I want to do is to welcome you, everyone. Let us come and have a great conversation tonight, because tonight is another night where we will be talking and chatting out to see what is the plan of Kenyans and what is running in your mind. Because today you're seeing the conflict between the rise, you see the conflict between the leaders themselves, like the president speaks, the other leaders respond, like Salasia, also other parties also response, and also want to hear your views upon this. And let me say this, I'm having Douglas with me inside the studio. But before I come up with Douglas, and before I go on, let me just give a shout out from the people in the comment section. And also with their comment section, I see this first person. The first person on the comment section is Chaka. Chaka is saying, hi people. Hey, thank you, Chaka. I see somebody says, called you, Mwandilo saying, hi, Bernard, hi, everyone. I see MNL saying, hi, everyone. Thank you. I also see Tony said, hey, hi, Douglas, Shadizo, and everyone. Thank you for those who are still joining. Please put your contribution on the comment section. And if you can join up the studio, use the link on the comment section and join up the studio. And for those who are watching us on TikTok, please tap the screen and also share the live so that everyone, other people, can also be benefiting from the what we are bringing up on board. But before we roll on so much, let me appreciate Douglas for joining me. And as Douglas, we had already say good things, but I would like you to open for us the floor and give us your opinion.
Hi, Shadizo, and Happy New Year, and hi, CT team. Hi to name Mohammed. It's been a minute since last post on the show. It's been a couple of weeks. Actually, we've not been together since the new year began here on the show. But I'm happy we've all crossed over and we are here. It's also sad that we are still, politicking, 3 years down since our last election cycle, 2 years, 2 years before we enter the next election cycle. We're still politicking, we're still moving around the country, we're still doing government reshuffles and, giving out sharing pieces of the cake, restructuring, sharing out government, and no work is being done for the Kenyan. Honestly, if you asked the current regime what projects, if you ask any Kenyan right now what major project has been done by government in the past 2 years, probably no one can mention any. It's just been a series of promises, endless promises, and politics. A lot has been happening, especially last year. And, it disrupted the existing power structure, and we've just had a lot of movement in politics, and I'm curious to see, although we don't expect much to happen, but aside from the politics, but I'm curious to see what the future holds.
Okay, thank you for that start, and still I hope we are moving on swiftly, and I welcome other people also on board. Let us come, let us unite, let us bring these Kenyans today for another role. We have seen the speech of the speech of President Ruto, the way he's speaking and the way he argued. And you see Kalonzo also conflicting to what he's saying. Before somebody given a bonus, there are some strategies supposed to be laying around, and also the government has some of the money for the budget. So, do you think that what between the president and Kalonzo, who's speaking the truth?
What the bonus issued? Has anyone gotten the bonus, or it's just promises?
It was just a promise that was given. Then Kalonzo has responded to that.
If it's just promise, it's usual Ruto stuff. So a couple of weeks ago, we were here with Mato, and we were talking about how Ruto just makes promises off his head, and sometimes even mentions numbers. It's just to gratify the people he's talking to. It's just in the moment, like it's just a political moment to you are here and you're talking to a certain group of people, and you're just saying what they would love to hear in that moment, and you probably not even talked to anyone about it, and much later you will just hear the same people you're talking to saying that Rais alikuwa hapa and he promised us bonuses and we've not seen the bonuses. It's yes, Kalonzo is pointing it out. For such things to be processed, there has to be formal agreement. It has to be put down on paper. But then again, Kalonzo is also a politician, and I think it might just be using it to gain for some political points, to gain political mileage. Yes, what he's saying has some truth in it, but then I guess being opposition is just criticism, criticizing, being critical of what the president is saying is just part of this role of opposition. But I'm sure a few weeks or months or even a year down the line, you will see the same people he was addressing in the chair, complaining on TV about those same bonuses they were here about. Yes.
Okay, so you are saying that the bonuses that being given up and everything that is being given is just the structural, just to like cheering up somebody to do something. But the truth is, that there's nothing they're giving the person.
Yeah, of course. Korea the promise. How many people has he promised to? Such things. It's just he. Ruto is Ruto. I think by now, we all know. So we all sort of understand his nature. we all like understand his nature. When he's standing in front of pastors, he's going to tell them, pastors and bishops and religious leaders, he's going to tell them what they want to hear. I have seen now you've been building a church, and it looks like it's been stuck. So from next week, I'm going to send in 5 million to complete that. Whatever is remaining is now up to me. But the moment he steps out of that venue, that is gone. Not unless he does it in the moment. The moment he steps out of that venue,
that thing is gone.
That thing is gone. So whatever, but you see, with such huge, promising church that you're going to help them complete a church project, that is different from dealing with such an issue as bonuses. It's something that people have been, it's not something you can just make a random promise out of it, because I think those bonuses are issued by the sugar processing factories, right? Yeah, so I think there has to be a series of board meetings and stuff, and it has to be included in their financial plans for the year. They have to look at profits they're making. So I don't think it's up to the president alone to decide it, unless it's but then again, those farmers who are celebrating bonuses are not, it's not a favor. You come from sugar, those sugar zones, right? How are those bonuses issued? How I mean, can you enlighten us how?
To me, for the few years I've spent planting sugarcane, the bonus that they normally feel like the farmers gets is just the bonuses for, I can say it's just the bonuses for keeping you. Because you could find, like, for example, I have cut my sugarcane, for example, like I have given the company my sugarcane, like this January, then the payment will come even after August. You see. Now the bonuses that I'm supposed to give, they're supposed to give me the money, for example, like to buy fertilizers. But back then we used to pay back the money. If the company could give you fertilizer, you will pay back. If the company will give you some allowances, the bonuses, they will give you back. The only place you could find the bonuses is the only time when you are being paid. And even sometimes you could not even see the bonus because their bonus is like for staying with your money for staying with the money for long period of time without giving you. Well, you need the money to use it. Well, you wanted the money on board to use the money. So there's one thing that I normally see, that even if the bonus that's trading, they say they will give the farmers, they want to promise you the bonus can't go even more than 2,000. Yet this farmer needs fertilizer. So you're still giving a farmer a bonus. Would you provide the fertilizer to the farmer? Because Ruto is saying that he wants to keep the bonus. Let us tell each other the truth. That's the bonus that Ruto can give, or the bonus that man can offer. It can't go beyond 2K, or if it go beyond so much, it can't pass 10K. We have many farmers. Okay, despite after what happened to Mumias, many farmers are not returning back. I'm one of the farmers that have not returned back to sugarcane. But if I'll still plant sugarcane, I'll plant sugarcane in a small farm scale. Not the large scale that the way you used to do back then. But the problem is the bonus that this is asking that you will give doesn't even have the structure, how the bonuses will go. It doesn't even have the plans. And then if I'm saying the bonus, meaning the bonus is just a tip. The bonus is just a tip. Like already, you have already gotten what you wanted, so I'll just add something on, but you've gotten already. Meaning, even if I give 100 as a bonus, you don't have anything. You don't have anything to say. You just accept it because it's a bonus. But now, when we come to look clearly, if Ruto could say that, okay, these are the farmers of sugarcane, the way he could provide it, like he makes sure that at least every company has some bucks for every farmer. Because the company knows huyu mkulima akonanua kiasi fulani. He supplies such a kind of sugar. Because you can find, like, for example, back then, we used to, for example, like, I used to supply like more than 100 tons. You see? Sometimes I could spend even, you find that when sometimes the sugar can does good, I could deliver even 1,000 tons. So you can realize if I want farmer can bring 1,000 tons, meaning is the company knows that the farmer has such a kind of land, whereby even if it's the bonus, let them figure it with something reasonable, whereby every farmer can benefit.
But okay, we shouldn't pay much attention to what Ruto was saying or any other leader he was to. I say, and this I'm addressing guys from the Western region, you included and me included. I think it's high time we start booing some of these politicians because they are using that. I don't know if people from Western Kenya can't see it, but the sugar industry has been ailing, which is the sugar growing regions are mostly majorly Western Kenya and partly Nyanza and maize. So maize and sugar are our crops, but they've both been ailing. And year after year, politicians have been coming to Western, have been going to Western Kenya and using this same issue. To just politic, and they do nothing about it. It's high time we just start calling them out and stop being cheering them for giving us those foolish lies that they keep selling us. Because Ruto was in Western. Nakumbuka that time he was telling you. That time when that Mambo ni Matatu came out.
Yes.
See, it was on the sugar thing. It was on the sugar thing.
It was on the sugar thing, but the sad thing is, the moment Celestia started to say the truth, people feel like he's not speaking out. The world because okay, I can't say Kenyans are dumb, but sometimes I normally feel like Kenyans we're supposed to be more than serious. We're supposed to be like to style up.
Between what I'm just wondering is, between that time and now, when was that? It was around. It was just a couple of months after he'd been sworn in.
Yes.
When was it? 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was in 2023. So between that time and now, 2025, what has happened? Like, he told us about. I think they set up a task force. What has happened between that time and now? Why hasn't he fixed the sugar issue? He's still using it to do politics. And if people don't wake up, it's still going to come there over and over till 2027. Atakuwa bado he's telling you people you're going to fix the sugar industry, you're going to fix the sugar issue, we are going to revive Mumias. And we are going to make sure farmers are getting bonuses, whatever that means. And yeah,
but to me, I feel like sometimes it's not all about just farmers being given bonuses and everything, but we need to look out everything clearly and everything the way it's coming out, because it's not only for the sugarcane industry or for the Nini part only. But you see, it's moving all circular around, and it's going to more even further points, whereby you can feel like the people who are being affected, or the people who comes on the board, they come because of their benefit. They don't come because they are the benefit of Mwananchi. They don't show up because they want Mwananchi to benefit. They show up because of their needs. We show up so people that feels like tumekuja, tumewaambia, tumesema, so ni nyinyi mkubaliane na sisi ndio sisi tumefanya nini? Tumesema we are the leaders. But to me, I feel normally feel like sometimes they supposed to have clearly, like clear something. This one thing we bring it up, and this thing is bringing up issues little bit, but I know the issues will be done very soon.
Watch the screen here, boy. It looks nice. Leave the screen like that. I like it.
Okay, thank you, Kid.
Just good.
I feel like sometimes we have to style up and stand up so that we not be carried up like we are people who are so absent-minded. Because when we see things like this happening, yet we still complain to it, we still comply to it, it means that we are not serious. Right now, like I can say clearly, it's look like our president is like campaigning, is re-campaigning back. Because when you look at the things that he's speaking, when he stand up, when he brings the conversation, he doesn't bring the conversation to Kenyans, he brings the conversation diverting it to himself. Check out like our mother tonight, whereby he stand up and say that Gachagua is the one that he was incompetent, is the one that the truth.
Yeah.
You see that he was incompetent, he employed him incompetently. So I wonder, if you knew he was incompetent, why did you bring him to the BDP?
We pay. I feel like we pay too much.
So this is what Bwana. Let me play this video. What to say me, like if Gachagua was incompetent, why should Bwana nimleta kwa board at the first time? Bwana nimleta kwa board.
We pay too much attention to the politics.
President William Ruto says his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua was, quote, incompetent, corrupt, and tribal, and had to be shown the door sooner rather than later. Now, speaking during his visits to Vihiga, Busia, and Kakamega counties today, the head of state said his agenda to unite the country is, quote, unstoppable. Your very own Emmanuel Toe kicks off our bulletin tonight. Take a listen.
He's letting the cat out of the bag, albeit cautiously, on the struggles that ended his 2-year political marriage with his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
Hebu nione kwa mikono, Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Wednesday, President William Ruto adding incompetence and corruption to the list of the reasons why the center could hold no more.
Kuna wengine tuliwapatia kazi because of incompetence, kwa sababu haelewi chochote, kwa sababu ni watu wa wizi, watu ambao ni matapeli, watu ambao ni wafisadi, watu ambao wako na chuki, wanagawanya watu. Hiyo biashara yao ilizama. Na mimi nataka niwaambie watazama na kuzama na kuzama, kwa sababu Kenya haina nafasi ya wafisadi, watu ambao hawajui kufanya kazi, na watu wa kugawanya watu kwa mambo ya ukabila.
Hey! The head of state who addressed a charged crowd in Luanda Market in Vihiga County, adding that Gachagua was derailing the country's development agenda, which led to his ouster as deputy president.
We have not
Nani amesema? Na kuna mtu hapa amesema niache zangu. Hii ni maneno yangu. Imetoka kwenye mdomo yangu. Incompetent imetoka mdomo ya nani? Imetoka mdomo ya nani? Kim. How are you?
Chalizo. Douglas.
Mimi niko na evidence. Leo niko na ubaya.
Hakuna ubaya, hiyo ni kweli. Hata kwanza the way you brought the topic nimefurahia sana. The way you've married up. Wachana na Annie. Annie is my friend bana. Huyo ni fan. Hiyo ni fan wako. Annie is cool. Anapenda kuchacha moto so that you can ongeza the show. Inaongeza mchuzi kwa boss kwa show. Kwanza ngoja rafiki yake Gypsy Kona akuje hapo ndio utajua moto. Ruto is in trouble. Mount Kenya wamemfungia mlango kabisa. Ameleta watu wa Uhuru. amejaribu kurudi huko na makanisa, vitu zimekuwa tu kali sana, and hii mambo ya watu wa nini wa mlima imefika mpaka mlima ya diaspora, watu wa Molo. Nasikia kuna ma MCA huko Nakuru wamemtoroka, meaning hata watu wangu wa mlima kutoka mlima hata huko Eldoret wamemkataa. So it just means that he has to look for the next big thing. So I'll show you the pattern. Ameona aende alipe ma MCA huko wa Trans Nzoia, sijui ni 5 million each waweke impeachment motion kwa Natembeya, because he's desperate to get a second community to show the perception of popularity, kwa sababu inaonekana ile kiti ya AUC inaendelea kuchomeka na watu wa ODM wameanza kugawanika kwa sababu wananchi wameongea. So kuna tule tuulabaluu za nini, zile ulatubaluu za nini, Tuni iko sawa, Tuni achana nayo. Ile tulabaluu ya hawa wakina Junet Mohammed, akina Gladys Wanga, all these other ODM leaders who are praising the government as if you're in government. Unajua hiyo kitu ya national unity hakuna. There's nothing like that. That is illegal. So when the split of ODM, for the people who've got reason and the idiots, inaanza kuleta shida, Ruto anaona ODM might soon leave. So he thought he had the Luos. Now he's trying to come to the Luya community and try to have that as his backup. Si ameingiza ANC kakwa UEDA. So watu wangu wa Luya, Ruto is coming for you. Atakuwa anakuja kwa makanisa huko Western, atakuwa anakuja kwa maspeech. Nasikia hata watu wenye huko Vihiga walilipo mapesa huko kutembea tembea. So Ruto is trying to replace the mountain with another community. Akijaribu wa Somali, it's not gonna work. That will cause a lot of problems because the Somali people are not stupid. Ataoneshwa ataoneshwa chemchemakuni vile Raila alionyesha chemchemakuni. The people of wafugaji kama wenzangu hapo hawezi, they're not going to follow him the way he thinks. Kalonzo, mtu wa naitwaje, ya kufuata vitu zina trend. Who is he? The hell is he? Kalonzo kwa watermelon tu, mara wewe ni best na Rigathi Gachagua, kesho kuto unakimbia sijui unafanya nini, unatuonesha madogi kuja kutubragia you've got new breeds. So I don't see what's going. Tuni umeharibu screen, kwani mbona umefanya shadisho wafanye hivyo? Anasema thanks chana Tuni. So these are moves of a desperate man, because on the other hand unaona Matiang'i has thrown his heart in there. Alienda mkutano huko US. Some of us are getting deported from the US kwa sababu Trump ameingia. That means there are no favors. So Ruto ni kubaya. So I don't understand what Kalonzo unauliza hizi mambo ya, Kalonzo asking for these sugar funds. I don't understand. What does he want us to do? Unajua anakujanga ku announce vitu and he's the so-called opposition leader. What does he want us to do, Shadish? Anataka tufanye nini? What can we do?
Nataka muombe. Si Kenya mnajua kuomba. Mwananga muombe inamaliza kila solution.
Tunaenda kuomba ama tuende tukuangalie. Unajua kuna Mungu mwingine anaitwa serikali, Shadisho. I've always been saying this. Kuna kamungu hapo kanaitwa serikali. MC atakuja kwa TV aseme serikali inafaa kufanya hivi. MP itakuja kusema serikali inafaa kufanya hivi. Kipchumba Murkomen atakuja aseme as the government we need to do this. So who is this God called serikali? Why do we always talk to the screen and look at a TV or a YouTube camera and ask serikali for help? Even leaders ask serikali for help. I don't understand. Hebu ngoja nisome hii comment. This is good. Stop being tribal. The last demo in Kenya, how many people from Rift Valley were there? And those Luyos who were with Umtata, who are they representing? I don't know. In Rift Valley, there were demonstrations that were led by our Gen Zs in Eldoret town. There were some demonstrations in Nandi County. They went to go visit their governor. Same as Bomet County and Kericho County. So there were Gen Z demonstrations that happened in Rift Valley without any tribal or leadership nonsense. As for me talking about tribes right now, I know I am saying that it's because of what Ruto is looking for. He's looking towards combining the Nilots like an idiot. He went to Narok a few weeks ago and said that he wants to have a united Nilot. The Maasai people rejected that. He decides then to go to Western. These are old school politicians and they're thinking tribal. That's why I have to talk like that. I'm just showing you the moves of the idiot, nothing else. As for Luo Nyanza, it's not just Luo Nyanza, it's combined with the Kisii community when I talk about ODM. Tulia. Gen Zs in Nairobi, how many Luo names were listed of those who were killed? The Luo people are warriors. Very many. Those are warriors, and we have to thank them every day for the bravery they've brought, what they've done. They are the bravest amongst all of us, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And as Kenyans, as a Kenyan fraternity, they are our children. They're not just Luo children. They are our children that bled. Continue Shadisho as Asili continues to fire shots. Siogopi swali.
Maswali inakuja, lakini leo mimi niko na ubaya. Leo nisidanganye. Leo nimekuja third world, watu wa mlima. Mtanisamea. Lakini tutasemeana baadaye. But today is the day that we're gonna tell each other the truth. The way tunaambiana tu kweli. Acha tena tuambiane tu kweli kila mara. Ukasirika kasirike, lakini it's better being painful with the truth than be comforting with life. That is the principle yenye tunatembea nayo leo. And there is one thing that I've realized again, that some people pretend. More so those people who are born during the this Stone Age period, I mean, the millennials, before millennials, and the back then a little bit. I'm not saying they were bad, right? But the thing is, you find something like they normally feel like trying to kusema kwamba mimi ni mtu wa mahali fulani. Alafu they will pretend that we are not in tribalism, but the truth is hiyo kitu itokange ndani yao. It has eaten them to the top. But what I want to ask is, what is it do they feel like if Ruto is rotating around will change anything? And already the mind of people, they are stand up that sai Kenya tunasema kwamba we are not voting with the buttocks, we are voting with mind. Sasa ile kuja piga kelele, ongea kama gawa pesa tutakula, lakini tunapigia mtu ambaye tunajua kweli anaenda kufanya mabadiliko kwa nchi yetu. So if is that is a principle, what do they think that will make everything to change again to come up and begin
We
to
need
check that.
CS jobs. We need CS jobs. We need more CS jobs. We want every tribe to have a CS job, because a CS job is the kind of job that brings communities together. If a community does not have a CS, we feel left out. That is why we wanted the BBI. That is why if a community does not have CS,
Keep.
you know I'm being sarcastic.
Yes, let me ask you a question.
I don't know, not everybody can decipher sarcasm.
Yes, let me bring a question to you.
CS jobs are very important, and we need more PS jobs. And you know, kuna kazi yenye akina Utumbi wa kupata.
Tuanzie hapa. How many CS seats do we have?
22.
22. How many counties do we have?
47. 46.
So,
47, yeah.
we have 47 counties.
Yes.
So,
48.
Okay, they are going to 48, but the 48 one has not been launched yet.
I know. See,
okay. Now, Sasa, I want to ask you, if we decide to give up the seats for CS to every county, will every county get?
No, but you see, the tribes that voted, the tribe that voted them, the tribe that has the president should have more seats. So that means we need more CS seats, and we need like at least 2 finance ministers, 2 cooperative ministers.
I'm asking.
Are you serious?
Akib, I want to ask you a silly question, like the way I am silly. If we have 22 seats, and then we want to say we want to give every region county, are we employing people because of the regional or because they have the capability to work in the space?
It's because of the region.
Not because they have the capability to work in the space.
No, it's for the region.
And then,
and also
then you will go on blaming Kenyans that we are still lagging behind.
Because you see, when you're doing campaigns, you have to reward the people that helped you campaign. You have to say
now,
thank you.
It's not about working for Kenya. It's rewarding people who work for campaign.
You have to reward them. And if there are no CS seats, we have to give them ambassadors, chairman of parastatals. So we need more of this institute. I don't know how we can change the constitution so that we can add these people. So now, if there was a possibility to have deputy cabinet secretary, prime minister, that would be good.
Mwache mchezo.
I feel
Guys,
like Kenya is lacking.
Hii tumesema next round kama kuna jinsi yote atasimamia tu hiyo kiti tunampea, hata tutapea Wajakoya. It's better we give Wajakoya.
Well, but honestly, I'm not sure if Kip is still being sarcastic or this is a...
I'm being sarcastic. No.
This is the actual thought, and this is what's happening. Kip is just speaking what's happening. They're giving the seats, they're giving the vacancies according ati nyie mlinisaidia kufanya nini campaign. It's not about the mwananchi, it's about wewe ulikuwa upande yangu, you see, wewe unatoka kwetu, wewe ni tribe ya wapi.
Let me ask you a serious question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a serious question, both of you. We've had, I'm going to be tribal here. We've had 3 Kikuyu presidents. Let's say one day, Shadizo, you become president. And you find that you, in your own capabilities as a man from Western, decides to employ everybody for all the CSs being one tribe. But let's say the PS for health is a doctor that has performed so well in Kenya. In medicine, he's saved people, he knows his field well. Then you find somebody who's been in CEO for many corporations in Kenya becomes the CS for no the CS for cooperatives. You find a certified financial guru becomes the CS for finance, but they're all one tribe. Let's say the Kikuyu. Would you care?
I only care because I want everything to go accordingly to the meaning. Because
No, wrong
siwezi
answer.
kudanganya hii ni Kenya
Wrong
na watu
answer. Let me
walisoma.
tell you, that is the problem. No. The day you will not care, the day you will not care that the CS is from one tribe, but Kenya is moving without corruption, meaning that I know it sounds contradictory from my sarcasm. I'm just saying the way these politicians have made us think that these seats need to belong to a tribe is very bad. Instead of looking for somebody, it doesn't matter if they're all from one tribe. It does. I don't care. Hata kama watu wametoka coast. Have we ever had a competent CS in Kenya? Ever? Never. Msiniambie mtu wa Matiang'i, msiniambie mtu wa nani. They've all been corrupt. Matiang'i aliua watu. So I'm just saying.
But okay, but
the day as Kenyans, the day as Kenyans, first of all, the president or the executive does not pick those seats. Hiyo kitu isikwe kazi yake. Hiyo kitu ati yeye anaenda kunominate watu, aache ujinga. You should not be able to nominate that nonsense. Hiyo tuliomba kwa US, it works in the US, but it cannot work with us. That thing should be picked by a public service commission. Hiyo ndio kazi ya public service commission. They go look at CVs of all Kenyans and find the best of the best. And what happens is those people are sent to parliament and then vetted, and then the final decision is then made by the president. But it's not him to come and give us a bunch of names of his friends to reward them for helping him with a campaign or to appease a certain region. That is
but he's the head of the executive.
Sorry?
But he's the head of the executive, literally the boss.
As we picked him, tutasaidia, we'll help him look for good people. Vile tulimchagua, tutamsaidia kutafuta watu. That is the best.
I don't think.
Wacha tusikize Lala. Lala, how are you?
Niko sawa.
Karibu.
It's good to see all of you. Chedizo, Douglas, Kip, and na wenzetu. Nimekuwa nikiwasikiza sharing. That is a really, I would call it where the rubber meets the road. You know, how do we are such a pluralistic society. We are not like Europe, where they only have, each nation has one tribe or two, if them at most. They are actually more tribalized than us. We have, I don't know how many tribes we have, depending on how you take Dorobos and others. So to give each tribe a CS is not practical. At the same time, to ignore, like this is the dilemma of the of GNC. How do we simply come and say, you know what, we are all Kenyans, we just give someone based on their qualification alone, when actually some places don't have anyone, you know, who may have those qualifications, and the reason has been systematic tribalization, marginalization of such places. They've never been close to power, so you don't expect them to have. Actually, I had a friend of mine here, is a Ugandan man. Somehow he was in the bush. He was not quite in the bush, but he suffered under Idi Amin, and he came to the US, and recently he's been back to Uganda, and he's in charge of he's an advisor of the president and is in charge of the oil. He's an industrial engineer. He's a professor here. And when he went back and the oil was discovered in Bunyoro area, and he was made in charge of the, of the whole thing, the first thing he did was to have an institute, to create an institute. That was his plan in that area, to train potential workers there. And you know what? What he told me is that the region were at arms against, how can you give us a small little institute to train few people? We want leadership, because it's not from the same region. But his argument was that if I don't start by training the people in that region on what oil is, I'm going to make the biggest mistake. We're going to make a big mistake as a nation, because that is the problem we have had, that certain groups, because they don't belong to certain club or certain power base, have been left out. And so we have a situation here which is difficult, because Ababu, here you are, maybe whoever we want to make a president, maybe Matiang'i, if you want him, or one of those young people that we have. The question is that they will have to have a cabinet. And the question is, how do you bring in people simply because they are from a particular tribe? They may not have the qualification. And then how do you also decide on having a cabinet that is only around people around that you know well, which is a good thing, but then they come from the same club. They went to the same place, same schools, like Ivy College, Ivy places, and those places are only occupied by certain families, like the legacies and all that. So we have a problem here. The problem is, how do we move forward under these circumstances? Let me say this: the best thing that has ever happened to Kenya is the devolved government, because with the devolution, we have a chance to be able to build other Matiangis in every part of the country, okay, if it's working well. And the question is that at the moment, we may have to have some form of a benevolent dictator, that's one extreme, or agree to work together, knowing these complexities. We can't wish them away by claiming we are not tribal. CCT are tribal when actually we are tribal. Here we are talking about non-tribal, we're talking about tribe, basically, because when we talk about talking about people like myself, the older people, as more tribal, when actually their life has been shaped by those discrimination and favoritism, to the point where they're wondering whether their kids will make it the next stage. And we want to forget that we get into this new government with the so-called Gen Zs running the show without the history. I think that's where we're also naive. So yes, we need the Gen Zs, and we need the realities of history to be part of it. The question is, how do we get to the right people? Because you may have smart people, but if they're not politically astute, whatever the word is, we have a problem. And that's why the technocrats sometimes fail, because the politics side, they don't know how to navigate the political side. And so the two need to get together. Then how do we marry them together? When we look at someone like Ruto, it's a failure. It's a failure not because he may not be able to do the job, okay, because he's gone to school, he can be able to get right people in the places, but the political will is not there. So clearly, it doesn't matter, even if you bring the smartest guy in the room, if they don't have that political will, it will not work. So the dilemma here is how do we put this country together and tap the best of the GMCs and also understand the history where we are coming from and be willing to wait for certain development to take place. Kind of like making sure that those being marginalized are not left out, because that's the mistake we make. Because I see even here in the diaspora, people are interested in what? In building their own little empires. They want to make money and they think of Kenya as a place to make money, okay? Which is the Western idea. Africa is a spare part. You know, look at now what we have in Africa. Um, uh, the you look at the continent, it is the richest in terms of natural resources. The whole of, there's a map there which shows how big we are. US can disappear in Africa, together with China, with India, with entire Western Europe. There's still going to be a space, okay? It means that AU can be the power base if Africans understand what is at stake at this moment. So even Baba going there can be a great, you know, way forward. But do we see that? No, we are busy fighting about the tribe here, and there. And I think at one point we have to come to a point where we are saying to ourselves, first of all, we repent of our sin of corruption as well as tribalism. And now let's look at what we have, because every part of that continent, every part of Kenya, every little inch is useful and productive and can do anything. So, and then the question here is, how do we raise our kids to be the Matiangis everywhere? Because if we see our land as ours, Kenya as our space, this is what we have, then everything else becomes an asset. The tribe become an asset. The young life become an asset. There's no reason why a child should be eating in a dumpster. That child is potentially what we need to build our economy. Each one of them, because countries now, Europe and other places, they don't have, the population are dying. They're looking for those kids that we let running around there with no jobs. They're looking for them. A lot of countries don't have any. If the US, they don't want to admit, they don't have people. Okay, their jobs that are open, they're actually tech jobs. There are probably 1 million job techs that are open right now. So Africans are young people, and let us embrace all of ourselves, our resources, our history, our space, and let's think and let's put our thoughts together and get this political thing and then fight this corruption. And you know what? We will make it. But if we look at the Rutos, like, for example, I think you guys talk about the sugar industry. That is, do you know that Africa itself only produces 0.4, percent? I think of world sugar. The largest, importer or the producer of sugar is European Union. Okay, followed by Brazil and others. So and here we are not even known, yet we are struggling when we have a commodity that can be able to, we can sustain and use for all kinds of purposes there. So I think we need God. Sijui kama tumerogwa, sijui kama kuna nini ambayo tunabana na sisi. There's so much that we can do and yet we don't see it. Asante. Back to you,
Okay, thank you, Lala, for that submission. I don't think Douglas have something to add on.
Not really. I think Lara's really put some clarity on that issue. But maybe on what Chip was saying before he disappeared. Yes?
I think my volume is...
Yeah, you are... I think you have an issue with your sound. It's
Just refresh your browser and then come back.
Okay, I can hear you now. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay. Personally, okay, just like you have said, I think devolution was the best thing that happened to this country. But then again, the issue that we have now is overrepresentation, and sadly, that we think, the solution to the issue of of the tribalism and the struggle for power is creating even more representation so that more people are included. I don't think that will ever solve our problem. What do you think, Lala? Every time certain communities are complaining that they are not included, the solution that people, and especially the political class, talk about is creating more space so that they are included.
I think the best thing also that is happening is that the Gen Z, that is engaging, because if they're asking questions that some of us were afraid to ask because we were told things to do, we followed tunafuata nyayo. It's almost things were dictated to us, and people are now asking questions. Why are these things happening? And I think that is the something that is happening that should be encouraged. We gotta ask questions, because if we don't, then we'll fall into kama fuata foleni. And foleni is simple. Africa is simply a spare part. It has all the resources, and the West and the East, they come to use it, because for us, we say bye-bye to our brain, our thinking. So we can't think outside the box. And that is what all this is all about. And so when I see Ruto going to Western Kenya and trying to bribe people using money, it is a way that has been used by colonial mindset that is actually taking us down the drain. And it is upon all of us to be able to say, no, we need better management. We need thinking, because sugar has so many other benefits that we can enhance. We can figure out, what to do. But if we can't even production itself, we have an issue with it, just simple management of those resources, then how do we get these extra benefits out of that industry? So there's a lot of thinking that is needed. We need a lot of brains. We need many of these young people that are coming to college, going to college, to look at those industries and see what they can do. Because you see, the next frontier in the thinking of human race is how we use our brain. Artificial intelligence and others require that we upgrade our thinking. We can't stay in this thought process that is we are given. We're doing things. Remember, the colonial masters never intended for us to have a dominating economy, or for us to be we were supposed to be servants. That's all they wanted from us. And so whatever they did was for their own benefit. They didn't really invest in our education to better our lives. It was for their interest. Can you imagine, at independence in 1961, Tanzania, the nation, had 26 college graduates. Only the nation that's the team that was left the country to run. And you know very well some of those education was about maybe learning English to be a translator for a white person, or some things kind of more of to support the idea that the white man had put in there. And that thinking has never stopped. So what that's replaced is things. So we get jobs to buy choppers. We get jobs to, to run around in big gas halls, but not to think, no critical thinking. This is where we are going wrong. So if we don't get what we want, then we use politics. See, money is to buy people. So in African politics, in Kenya, Ruto politics is to go to Western Kenya and start buying people. And that's where we have gone wrong, and we will stay there till we challenge these people. So the answer is really in, both of you, Dizo and Douglas, what you are doing. Don't stop at what you are doing. We got to critique, this ideas that we get out there, because they are taking us nowhere. We know very well there's a serious problem in the sugar industry. We are not thought outside the box. So what we are doing now is bribing, and whenever you're given money or supposedly called bonuses, we know there are no bonuses. We know the system is not, been streamlined. We know they will come back, and you hear next debt. All I've had since for a long time is about debt in the sugar industry. Debt, all the time, debt. And if you look closely, there are corrupt people, corruption is going on. If you don't tackle the corruption, then you can't even put the young mind to be able to come up with ideas on what to do. Europe is producing a lot, 18%. I think Brazil is 14%. Okay? And for us, very, very low, because they know the value of it and they can able to do it. So we are stuck where we are. So I think you gotta get rid of people like Ruto, but at the same time you gotta think hard so that we don't throw the baby in the bathwater, but be able to look at what is best. How can we do it? What are the good minds? What are people who are not corrupt? And let's work with those people. And let's be brave. Thank you. I don't know where you went. You're gone, but I think we all gotta be brave. Yeah, because we are standing on the shoulders of those that have lost their lives. Others have been maimed because they asked the question that you guys are asking. So it's upon all of us to kind of come together and ask those questions and demand them, and not just to make money, and it's not just about it's building a country, building a nation. You see, there's something that we have missed that I want to say as a pastor. Okay, pre-colonial times, or the African tradition had an enforcer. An enforcer was the evil against our tribe, the spirit that was there to enforce. So people are afraid to do wrong things. You don't steal somebody's thing, utapigwa na curse, whatever. So that kind of made us be aware that you can do some things. Like, you respect the community. If something happens, there's an appeasement done. So in a way, there was a system there. Okay. And then we became smarter and wiser. So we replaced it with nothing, with the Christianity that is fake. Okay. So here we are. It's like an outlaw. We don't care about what those spirits of our dead say. We know what we are doing. That's an old thinking. We can't see. So we are exposed now to a space where there is no enforcer. So everybody is somebody. The personal efficacy, which is really a term which is marking where we are going as a people. So we have got outlaws. So we can't corporately work together to achieve certain goals because there are no norms. The norms have been taken out. And that's the problem we have. And this is what the West and others like to do. Look at the Japanese. I lived in Japan. They still respect their dead. They do things as a community. There is that oneness they have, and no wonder they're doing better. Okay. And the sad thing is, their neighbors, the Filipinos allow Catholicism to take over their nation. So they quit their ancestral way of thinking. And look at the economy. The economy is like a third world there. Look at Japanese, the first world, because they have some ideas and they know that there are people. They have a utu ya nchi yao. Sisi ni watu fulani. Okay, we are certain group of people. We have got our pride. We have got our system. Africans, we are in trouble. So this is why the faster we get people rid of people like Ruto, the better, because doing and standing for truth, standing for justice, calling them, actually that's what appeases our ancestor spirit, and that is what allow us to define ourselves as a people. And right now, it is a shame that we know what is right. We know, every Kenyan know what is, we know that election was stolen. We know that people are stealing. We see what they have, but you know what? We feel helpless. And next thing is some of us go and join, in the loot, and we try to justify. Okay, and so we are living a lie. Clearly, we're living a lie. Even our young people, we disconnected. So let the spirit of a warrior get back to us. Let that spirit get back to us, because that spirit in our tribal setting, every young man had a spear, had a shield, had something to defend them. But we were told police will take care of us, so we don't have any of that. Okay? We don't have any defense for ourselves. Okay? So because we are trusting the system to take care of us. We are trusting that things will be fine. We are trusting education, but we are exposing ourselves. So it is important for us as Kenyans, as Gen Zs and others, that we must close in our ranks and see what is wrong with us. See the corruption as something that we got to all fight, and tribalism that we have to all fight, and fairness. Okay, fairness is needed. If a place had never had a choo, yani kwenda kwa choo, lazima tujenge. They don't have kids that can be president. We make sure they go to school. They have kids that can be president. Let the system work, and some of these things will take care of themselves. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lala, for that great submission. Indeed, it's taking us somewhere. And for those who are joining, please, I welcome you inside the studio so that you don't come late and say that we closed you out. And then you have to say that these people are mean. So, kuja mapema, vijana tunasemanga mapema ndio best. As we continue, the Lala has touched something about some few parts on some few movement a little bit, and I would like to bring up another also a tricky conversation a little bit, whereby today also Gachagua responded to the talk today, and let us see what Gachagua said. Then we will tell me, according to your opinion, what Gachagua is doing. Leo kumechemuka. Let us see Gachagua.
Meanwhile, Mount Kenya politics is slowly taking a new shift, with the now focus shifting to the little-known Wamunyoro village, the rural home of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Since his removal from office, Gachagua has been holding meetings with various leaders from different sectors. The meetings, he says, were consultative ahead of his unveiling of a political party. And as Clement Masombo now reports, Wamunyoro featured prominently in Gachagua's impeachment case, making some leaders refer to him as a villager. Gachagua has since embraced his village.
The little-known Wamunyoro village featured prominently in former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment case when Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwangi Mutuse presented his case to the National Assembly and defended it in the Senate, leading to the removal of Gachagua as Kenya's second Deputy President. Gachagua has since turned to a critic of the very government he supported and served for 2 years, accusing the Kenya Kwanza administration of what he terms as misplaced priorities. Since his removal from office, where he was accused of advocating for tribal politics and at one point referred to as a villager, Gachagua rarely leaves his village. Wamunyoro village, neighboring Mount Kenya forest, is located approximately 30 kilometers from Nyeri town and just 5 kilometers from Sagana State Lodge. The village is now becoming the Mount Kenya Power Center, where the former DP meets the who and who in the political sphere, strategizing about his political comeback. Speaking on Sunday in Laikipia County, Gachagua said he was in the final stages of collecting views about the formation of a political party, which he is set to unveil between February 3rd and 5th.
Na niseme wale watu wanakuja kuniona wa Munyoro, mimi hakuna mtu ninaendorse atasimama ikitii ama ile. Nimeona ile watu wa kutupiga aliyakuda hapo tume wanatuma kwa TV, Rigathi anaendorse huyo akuwe governor. Hakuna, mimi nasikiza maoni peke yake. Watu ya kanisa wanakuja, nawaambia hata msipigwe picha. Professional wanakuja, nimesikiza maoni mingi na ninaendelea wiki hii na next week.
Gachagua has been meeting leaders and opinion makers from Mount Kenya region and other parts of the country. On Monday, Gachagua held a meeting with leaders from Kajiado and Narok counties. On Tuesday, he met elected members of the county assembly from Nakuru County, a delegation led by Naivasha MP Jane Kihara. On Wednesday, MCAs from Murang'a County were also at Wamunyoro, with Nyandarua, Kirinyaga, Laikipia and Kiambu set to visit him before the end of January. Gachagua has also met other people, including those who previously served in the government.
He comes in the game as an underdog, the political game, and what he knows or what he's mastering is that he knows with the Mount Kenya bloc, he is able to negotiate for himself, for the region, or even get the ultimate, rule or the ultimate power.
The visit or the delegations that we've been seeing happening at Wamunyoro residence with the second deputy president of this country, they're quite significant in the sense that, like he has been saying, is that he's doing consultations. He's engaging with leaders, religious leaders, local leaders, business people, professionals, everybody. He's literally engaging with everyone to know the direction that as a country, as a nation, and more so as a region that we are supposed to take.
Pandit said that this is a strategy to solidify his support base in the region before he embarks on grassroots activation of his party beginning February.
So if he's able to get the right finances going, and those leaders who are coming to his Wamunyoro home, is facilitating, and I'm sure they are getting something out of it. On top of now the political goodwill. Remember, Gachagua has a political goodwill with the Mount Kenya. So on top of that, he has also to have the finance to sustain the movement up to 2027.
So the reason why he'll be able to sustain this is because he's listening to the ground. So he's going where the people want. So, and since it looks like the people will sustain this to the very end, rather up to 2027, then certainly he's going to be able to sustain this.
Whether Gachagua will be able to sustain the pace to 2027 when Kenyans will go to the ballot is a wait-and-see situation. Clement Masombo, KTN.
Now, after...
That's how things are. Gachagua will sustain Mount Kenya. Do you feel Gachagua will sustain Mount Kenya? Watu wa mlima, je, mtuambie. Watu wa mlima, mambo yamechemuka. Sometimes it normally goes just happy. The way you correct what we're not
honestly, personally, I don't understand Mount Kenya politics. They've always been emotional in how they make
the decision.
Yeah, their political decisions. So we didn't expect. Okay, we were not taking Gachagua seriously initially, but we wanted him to keep talking so that he keeps telling us what has been going wrong inside government. But I was not taking him seriously as they have. I was not expecting that anyone would take him this seriously to the point where, I don't know, that story said that his village has become now the new center of political power, Mount Kenya political power, and leaders are trooping there. So that's what I'm saying. Mount Kenya, I don't understand Mount Kenya politics, And funny thing is that he's going to be on the negotiating table come 2027. But I would really love to hear from those really tribal
Okay,
people
there's one thing
to explain,
there's one thing I realized with Mount
to
Kenya.
put some sense.
There's one thing I realized with Mount Kenya, or with people from that region, or from this side, they normally call them the Mount Kenya. They are having something that we normally call they are trying to destroy themselves by themselves. What do I mean by they are trying to destroy themselves by themselves? You remember the time the Gachagua was being impeached, was being removed. They say that Gachagua is not the leader of
Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya. You remember?
Yes.
After being impeached, now they become the game also changed.
Yes, they
You
actually
find them-
went to Limuru, and they say Limuru is their
leader.
leader.
Now, after Uhuru going back to after Uhuru now going speaking to Ruto, now Uhuru now become bad. He changed, and later I realized that even if they are given the chance, if they're like given the community when they declare they are the community, they were given also the TB, the DP. The DP comes from the same community that they call themselves the mountain. But do you know they are decided to kill even the people from Meru, because they have make them they feel that kumbe we are just part of Murima when we come to the election. After the election, we are not part of Murima.
Who
they're screwing themselves. You remember after nini Gachagua being impeached, walianza kusema kwamba tumeachwa, tumetengwa, tumefanya nini, until somebody asks, kwani Kindiki is not coming from Murima? Or we are showing that they are Merus, they are not part of Murima, except party election peke yake. You see? Now they are speaking out Gachagua is now the G. This controversy, watu wa Murima mtusaidie kuelewa. What's not happening with you?
But I think somehow he managed to get a grip on Mount Kenya, and Ruto seems scared. He's okay. Lately he's been avoiding the central region, anazungukia huko western wapi, Rift Valley, and I think he's trying to consolidate the Luyas and the Luos and the Kalenjins. Those are the next three big tribes, right? Okay, let's just say tribes. Our politics still being defined by tribes, although I don't like talking about tribes, but so far it's still being, for at least the next two elections, tribe, the tribal card is still going to influence a lot of political decisions. But anyway, so he seems to be shifting his. I think Gachagua somehow managed to get a grip. I don't know how he did it, but he's managed to consolidate Mount Kenya, and he's gotten a grip on it somehow. I don't know how. I would love for someone who can analyze it for us very well, but somehow he's managed, and if he can sustain it to 2027, then he's going to be on the negotiating table. Although, as per our constitution, he can't run for office in 2027, but he can still be a king later. Lala.
Let's listen to Lala. Lala, what is your opinion? What did the Gachagua speech?
My position on Gachagua is kind of mixed, and let me speculate. I think Gachagua is good news to Ruto, because if you can get somebody on the side to take all the pressure from you and begin people talk about you, I think that's the genius of Ruto, because now we are talking about Gachagua, whom all of us know should not be a leader. But because of desperation on the mountainside, feeling like what their scheme, their plan is not working, because number one, when we were struggling on the street, because we believe something went wrong with the election and the way things were done. The mountain was speaking with one voice. Hao ni watu wa Mareli, watu wengine, they are despoiling our businesses. So they knew they had a plan, what they wanted. Okay. And that plan has been disrupted. So I think they panic, and those panicking forced them to rally around the anti-Ruto. Those who are who feel like they are opposing Ruto. And so Ruto sent them Gachagua, by getting rid of him. And then now they move in that direction, and then giving them, of course, the current VP. And to them, they don't look at him. They look at the real Mount Kenya is it's Gachagua. So that is the natural leader. So in a way, there's a lot of exposure. They've been exposed in some of that kind of thinking, which is, I think, is good for us to know exactly what's going on, because clearly if the deputy or the vice president, the deputy president has never left, the mountain. They're still there in the mountain, but still they are not comfortable with him. So I think there's a lot of I think we shouldn't even talk about Gachagua. I say we talk about the thinking of the mountain. So when we talk about tribalism, in a sense, yes, all of us have been set that way, the way we got from our independence to where we are. Tribalism has played a big card and is still going to remain for a while. The question is just how do we salvage ourselves? And I think it is upon the mountain to basically exercise this immune, I would call it, of thinking that somebody like Gachagua, because Ruto kicked him out, now they are rallying around him. If that is really the thing that should go in the Republic at this moment, okay? If we really want to understand what GNC is all about, where we think as a nation. So there's a lot of work to be done on the mountain. And also on the other side, on the west, is I think the anger towards the mountain should also not blind the people to certain realities that we have someone whose credential is questionable, somebody who may not have won the election, did not win an election, somebody who's corrupt, yet we embrace him because he is for us, which I think the same thing the mountain did. They embraced Ruto. They knew the kind of person he was, and still they were able to embrace it. And now, what are they saying? He's not doing what we expected him to do, and then now we on our side. So my thinking here is that I'm not saying that the Western Kenya is rallying around Ruto. I think it's probably more strategic than anything else. What's going on. I think they're looking at the government, the taxes, the people. Yes, you got to live in Kenya. You got to get money coming from the bank that Ruto controls. You got to work within the system the way it is. So I think it's also naive for us to tell people to get out when actually they are still part of a nation. I think the thing is for us to fight the system by clear thinking and also being able to have an alternative for what we see at this moment. And that can only come if the brave people step out and talk and share and be truthful. I think it's Chadizo who said that today we want to be truthful. Let us be truthful, because if we are not truthful, then all we are doing, we are just proxies for those tribalists. You end up finding that probably half of our GNCs are funded, are nurtured by tribalists. Remember, we live in the homes of those people are benefiting from some of those systems. So a lot of times we feel we want to separate ourselves from the system, but the benefit is so much that we end up joining it again. So this is some of the dilemma that faces us as a people as we fight this war. So Gachagua's talk is, I think, is good because it exposes some of us. I think you guys just mentioned it, that at one point it was not the guy they believe in. Then all of a sudden now he's there, he's a king. And the question is, how did he become a king? Okay, those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves and interrogate so that we can fight this war and win decisively and then create something that we're going to be proud of. Or else we become like any other revolution. They will start well, or a coup happens, things get worse because we did not think, only we thought about was to get rid of this, get rid of the system. And we didn't think beyond getting rid of a system. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you for that contribution. What I want to remind everyone is that tonight we are having a real conversation, and I want to remind you that Sound Country Talk is the place to be. And if you have not subscribed, click the subscription note. Please click the subscription note and be a member and part of it, because every day we'll be bringing such a conversation and other more conversation which will be triggering and be having more details towards this. And as we continue softly, we're just going for a short commercial break as we are coming up for the last.
Let me say something.
Sound Candid Talk.
Yes, Lala.
Let me say something. Ruto now claims that Gachagua is corrupt, isn't it? Now, he's the consumer of intelligence, Ruto. So he knew exactly who was corrupt. So he made him deputy because he was corrupt. Okay? He says incompetent. He knew the people. He's the one that gets all the intelligence. So that's actually incriminating Ruto himself. When did he decide this guy was good enough to be deputy president? Okay? Why did he do it? So clearly, whatever he's telling us is make people even more annoyed, people like myself. Back to you.
Thank you. We're just going for a short commercial break. We'll be coming back as we will be beginning to sum up.
At Sound Candid Talk, we provide live UHD broadcasting for church services, talk shows and podcasts, weddings, live bands, products and services launches, webinars and trainings, Zoom meetings, conferences, seminars, exhibitions, and virtual concerts.
Thank you and welcome back for this part and the last segment of our show where we begin summing up. But before we begin summing up, there's a lot going on in our nation where the bill responds and other people respond and other things goes on, other things goes left, other things goes right, but a lot is going on. For example, like these ones, let us do this as we are summing up.
Now, AACC Chairperson Dr. David Oginde says the Commission is investigating the judiciary and especially 3 judicial service stations flagged for corruption by Kenyans. Now, Oginde said the investigation includes petitions accusing several Supreme Court judges of corruption. Let's get more from our very own Willie Lusige.
A few weeks after Chief Justice Martha Koome requested the EACC to investigate 3 judicial service stations accused of corruption, the Commission confirmed that it is expanding the probe to the entire judiciary.
The Chief Justice herself, on her own motion, approached the EACC to help her look into the allegations that have been brought against the judiciary. But we are looking more broadly at the judiciary as a whole. You would know that in our work, we do not publicize, because when you say you are going to catch a thief, they will not be waiting for you there to catch them.
Oginde emphasized that the investigation includes allegations in petitions filed at the Judicial Service Commission, JSC, accusing the Supreme Court judges of misconduct and corruption.
We cannot afford to have people within that whole system who are actually subverting that very important step in our judicial system by taking bribes. So I can assure you that our teams are on the ground.
Once completed, the EACC will submit the findings to the JSC for judges and magistrates and to the DPP for other judicial staff.
The law is very clear on how judges are dealt with. So where there are people who are culpable, whether they are supposed to be taken to the JSC so that a tribunal is set up, especially for judges, that will be done. Where there are officers that are not are not either magistrates or judges, those people then will be taken straight to answer the cases.
Waginde spoke during the launch of the National Integrity Academy strategic plan by the EACC. It is meant to train state officers to fight corruption and promote integrity.
This plan has focused on a collaboration as a critical component towards its successful implementation. This strategic plan will enhance the achievements of the Commission strategy on capacity building on anti-corruption interventions and promotion of good governance.
As police, we are journeying and make sure that we are not only on the receiving end, but we make sure that we lead in the front in fight against corruption.
Willie Lusige, Citizen TV.
That's how Kenya is going and that's how it's Kenya reversing. Lakini watu wa Mlima muniambie what's not going on with you. I see Mkenya Mkora in the building. Mkenya Mkora.
How you doing, brother?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Kama dawa.
Nimeuliza watu wa Mlima wanataka nini? Watu waambie.
Hii kitu yote unajua nyinyi, you and Douglas. And Douglas, I high five to you, man. Good man. Na kuheshimu sana na wa respect sana Mr. Lala and everybody that is watching the show. Nyinyi watu hamjachoka na hii kitu kwani ama mimi ndo nilichoka ama ni hii drama yenyeendelea hii movie and the cartoons si cartoons hizo za Kasongo hizo ziendelee. But I'm just trying the nonsense zenye zinaendelea. Nyinyi hamjachoka kweli? You know, the reason I'm asking this.
Kenya ni tamu tu ni kwa popcorn enda kajua KICC anza kuona tu Kenya.
Mazo unajua sasa hata imeacha kuwa politics ikakuwa content creation. It has gone to a point where we've left the politics. We just want someone to, to just materialize some context creation that can be valid somewhere. We've forgotten our values, kabisa. Some of the things that you hear these people talking about, the things that are happening, and you wonder, I mean, why are we talking about it if it can be done? Amoni imefika mahali tuachane na kuongea mingi lakini tufanye. Sijui kama nyinyi mnanielewa kitu nasema. Wacha at the risk of speaking like Ruto. Mnanielewa jameni? It has come to a point in our country that we stop too much of context creation and too much of talking, but we make we start doing something that is serious. Mimi nikiona hata saizi zile vitu wao sawa napigana, mimi ndio maana hata nilichokaga hapa hivi, my two brothers here. Sijatoka, niko tu naangalianga kutoka nyuma, because you find that Kenyans wamefikishwa mahali na these leaders, wengine hata wameacha kuwa leaders. It's kind of like what you asked today, the question there, who can be the leader of Kenya? Hizo namba zote mmetuwekea hapo hivyo. Don't we understand that hizi zote ni watu wote wamekuaga since independence? Yani, the Kanu, these are all Kanus, nini. Basically, don't you guys, what I wanted to say, na kitu imenifanya nikaingia hapa, my brothers, Guys, are you forever gonna be led by the same people? Is it really about a time that watu wa change to wifukuza kila mtu? We don't care if you're whoever you are, as long as you are in that part of the government or part of whatever. We have a whole clean slate. I know hata nipenda kitu yenye nasema, but we need to have a clean slate. Kwanza, those 4 names that you put there, no one. It's about time we have a new clean slate, a clean slate that actually understands what the current world and current affairs of the world is, versus a slate that is asking us that, if you remember, somebody said the reason we joined with Ruto is because we didn't think Gen Zs have the capability of running a country, or if the military would take what the country would go. So we were trying to save the country. You're trying to save the country. Which country are you trying to save? I mean, do you own that country? Do you believe that the young people can really not run the country? Do you also believe the military cannot run the country? So why do you feel that you're the one that actually can save the country? So let me go unite with someone else so that we save the country. Which country are you saving, and whose country are you saving? Tukikuacha hiyo country na tuame sisi wote, utasave nini? You see, and that is where I'm pushing people to understand that there are some people that think when they, as long as they've been in the government, they have to be considered. They have to be they have to make a direction of the country. What direction and whose direction are you making to? You know. So why is it that Kalonzo or Musalia or Wetangula feel like without them being told, without them, it has to be them? You know what I'm saying? Without them, it has to be them. That they're the only ones that actually know what a country can be done and what a country cannot be done, and all that. It's nonsensical. So basically, what I'm trying to say, we need a whole overhaul. Even what Gen Z wanted, to just overhaul and tell them, go back. You don't even belong here, so that we can move on with our country. And that's my take. Tuacheni hii kitu yote kila mtu anasikia, ati ndio ati without them, without ati sijui bila Murembe. Na kwanza hiyo Murembe ni kina nani? Just the top watu wenye wamekuaga huko hivyo siku za Nyayo. When you talk about Ukambani, you find ni watu tu wote wamekuaga huko hivyo. Who told them that they have to, that's their career? It should not be a career thing. Kila mtu akuja if you want to do whatever and you go away. But right now, in our country, we need a whole overhaul of everything. Kwanza tutoea watu wenye wanafikirianga Kenya ni yao, lazima waifuate hivi. Lazima kila mtu afuate hivi. And I'm liking it. Viva, tuendelee. I'm done.
Mato, it's good to hear your voice. Can I step in? Heresy is truth taken to an extreme. That's what heresy is. What you're saying is what is needed. We need a new slate. But you must remember that in most cases where that new slate came in, things got worse. A simple reason is that they went to the unknown, and that unknown became an issue. Yes, we need to be done. The question is, how is it going to be done? In most cases, let's talk about Traore and others. Usually there's a planning, that takes place. It's not a popular, embrace of the new. It is people who have decided this is what we want, and they go for it because of the certain ideals, and they take over the government. Okay, and then they usher in the new. But if you are going to suggest that somehow people will know this new person just because he comes and declare that I want to be the president, I think it doesn't work that way. So this dilemma we are in, we need new. The question is, how do we get there? When we talk about experience, what we're talking about is people who are maybe technocrats or people who have been seasoned in the system, who are clean enough to be able to remain and run the system. Or else you throw the baby on the bathwater and you end up with the chaos, because that's what has been. So I agree with what you're saying, that we should get something new. The question is, how do we identify what is new and what is old with corrupt, practices, things like that. I watch basketball and football and others. Sometimes you see the head coach very young, okay? And then the defensive coordinators and others are old people. It is where they've decided to look for the right candidate, and they see this young person is able to run things, so there's not discriminated against because he's young, but they see the gift and the talent this young man has, and that old man who is a seasoned defensive coordinator who may have even been a head coach doing the job. I think is, how do we marry the two? How do we get the best of the Gen Z and the best of the old, but clean people to run this system? That's where the problem comes in. So, but if we just throw the baby in the bathwater, we might be in serious problem. So, I think if the Gen Zs are there, they have the capacity to change this system, and they are talking among themselves. They know who is clean and who is not clean. Let them take over the system. Traores and others did, and we seem to be having very good results. So I think that's where the thing is. But this Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva is great. It's a good spirit. The question is, we are opening it up to potential saboteurs, which we know are there. We know people who finance others. They're on the playmaster, they're young people, but on the paymaster of somebody else, okay? So we don't want the situation where we turn out to be a Rwanda in that old sense than a revolution that really bring in a clean government. Of course, Kagame was able to do a good job, but after so much death has been done. So that's my little confusion and challenge there. How do we get there? But clearly, we can't let the spirit, be drowned. I think we need a change, and we need it now. So back to you.
But Lala, can I ask you a question on that?
Just briefly, because we're summing up.
Sure, go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
I'm just giving you a minute. Ask.
Lala, don't you think it has come to a point where actually, just to prove my point, or maybe to try and prove my point, other than the Selassie, the Katotos, Kadito Toto, I don't know where she is now. Other than those ones, which other prominent person have you not known for the last 20, 40 years? Can you tell me one that has just come up? That was a question, Mr. Lala, that was directed to you. I wanted you to tell me which other prominent person do you know? Can you count me? Actually, give me 4 that you know that just came up within the last 10 or 20 years.
I probably will not answer that question, Mato. And my simple answer is this: that the system was set up to feed into that old idea, that old thinking, that has to go. Which I agree with you 100%. That we can't have the same old mindset. We still need new coaches. We need some old people in there. We need a working system. Okay, so the system itself is made in a way that it will always support that kind of old thinking, which I think has to go. Okay, because
you see that's the problem I have, and I've been asking these questions, and even our chairs here, they can tell us, and they know when you start talking about the political field, you're talking about people that were even in the politics before even our youngsters here. I mean, before they were even born. YK92, these guys were already there. Everything. I mean, so you don't even have a whole. The reason we are still a third world country is because we don't have anything that is changing, because we are stagnant. Because guess what? The leaders that we have today, guess what? Now we are gonna start talking about when it comes to our election, we're gonna start talking about which one is the best of this that we already have. Which one is the best of them? Instead of looking at who's the best for whatever is happening. Do you know why Singapore actually went went ahead of the republic, the so-called, because I don't believe it's a republic, the so-called Republic of Kenya? Is because for them they did not you go wash your clothes and you wear it again. Kurudilia. They moved on to new leaders, people who are getting new ideas, people doing whatever. But the same ideas that were there in 1962 are the same ideas that we have. So if you were there in the government, if you were, and forgive me to say this because I'm not afraid to say it, nataka kuwasha moto leo. If you were a Mr. Raila Odinga in 1992 or 1968 or 19 whatever you want to call it, so everybody has to talk about Raila Odinga. If you are Uhuru Kenyatta at that time, you have to talk about that. If you are a Musalia Mudavadi, you have to talk. If you are a Sifuna, your uncle was there, you have to talk about Sifuna. Yani you have to talk kila kitu, because everything revolves about the people. It's like there's a differential quandrum of the citizenry and these are the people who are above here, and those people is what we fight about. So we look at mawingu inakaa 1 2 3, tunataka ile mawingu ya left, hiyo mawingu ya right, but atuangalie hapa chini kuna nini. So you find that everything that we talk right now, the Luos will talk about Raila, the Kalenjins will talk about either, because now Moi is gone, or it will be either through mtoto ya Moi or Ruto. When you come to Kikuyu land, it will be Gachagua na watu wenye walikuwa huko hivyo and Uhuru Kenyatta. You go to Machakos, it will be the Kalonzos who have been there since 1980s. Let's go where? Mombasa. We were even bringing this guy. What is his name? The guy, huyu wa Malindi anaitwa Mungatana. And Mungatana has been there since when? At a Rainbow. When you go to Masai Land, there's there and huyo watu tu wenye tulikuwa tunajua kutoka kitambo. You come to even I mean, it's gone so bad to a point of Atuoli, even the unions, yani imefika huko hivyo. Everywhere you go, these are people that you've known forever. Go to Nakuru, you'll find the Kihika. People think they know Susan Kihika. The father was the one in alikuwa huko. So it seems like we've created a generation that was created, I don't know, by God, that knows how to determine where Kenya goes and how it goes. We need to go back to understand. So how about those people who are not in the system, who were when walikuwa kwa system? Why are they generating the seeds that actually come back into the system? Yet hao wengine sisi ni watu wa kuambiwa go right, jump right, do this, hapana tumesema maybe. And when they go talking to people, they say tunagongwa sisi. Ni kina nani mnagongana? I know the common mwananchi agongangi mtu, lakini hao ndio wanasema wanagongwa. So it's kind of like mtu amekuja na baluni yake hapa hivi anajipuliza so that watu waseme unagonga baluni yetu. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm just saying this battle is not for Kenyans.
I gave you a minute. Imeanza kuwa 10.
Okay, sawa, wacha nifunge basi, wacha nimalize. No, Douglas amenyamaza sana because he knows I'm talking the truth. Ndio unataka kunigonga, lakini let me just say this fight is not about the common mwananchi. This fight is about the people who are up there wenye wanafikiria wanagongwa gongwa, and we need to make it a very expensive affair to be up there. Either you be common ama tutakugonga huko hivyo juu na hatuachi. Done. Douglas, hujanijibu. I know you keep very quiet. You're very quiet and meticulous in how you think your things and how you say it. But I'm still here.
Umeuliza nini? First of all, happy new year bana. Mato.
Happy New Year, my brother.
You asked me a question.
Yeah, I asked you, is this war okay? Let me just rephrase it. Kama hukuishika pole, lakini let me rephrase it. Is this war when people say, I'm not saying we, I'm saying when some people say, munatugonga, munafanya, tunafanya, whatever, the people that actually hold the mic, is this our countrymen war, or is it a war for the watu wenye wako huko hivyo juu, the you know, the elites wenye wanakaga huko hivyo juu? Have we ever asked yourselves, ni sisi wanaongelelea ama wanajiongelelea wao? Ukisikia UDA inachapana na nani, UDA ni nani na nani na nini na nini? You know, I don't know if that makes any sense, because I've come to realize that we are fighting sometimes as locals. We fight a war that is not ours. This is their war. They should just be left out there and fight their own war. So what do you think? I think that was my question with that disclaimer.
Yeah. Of course, that is, it's not our war. We are just we've always just been pawns in their games. Although you know, lately we've been seeing things more clearer, and you know, it's now us versus them. And any Kenyan who doesn't think that way, he's you know, he's wrong, and that's it. It's us versus them. It has always been them. Ukiona URP inagongana na ODM ama inagongana na TNA ama, you know, there isn't a political party at TNA. It maintains the same form over the years. It's just them aligning here and there. By 2027 sijui Gachagua, unaweza pata hata Gachagua kwa kambi moja na Raila. It's just alignment for wana kupata tu ile kitu wanataka, then next time uko na huyu. It's just this, it's just the same. They're just there to divide power amongst themselves. But you know, for now, I think Kenyans should overlook those divisions that those imaginary divisions that they've created amongst us. Sijui sisi ni watu you know, sahi now Gachagua amehepa na watu wake ametumia hiyo impeachment to create some sort of victim story, then he's cut out a support base for himself, you know, so that come the next election he'll still be on the negotiating table, even if he's not allowed by the constitution to run. You know, he's still going to be somewhere on the table, deciding just about them. That's why we had an issue here with guys
to
from
answer Mato after you're done, because some things can't go unchallenged. Endelea.
Pardon?
I want to comment on Mato because I'd like to challenge him on some of his.
Okay. Actually, I was almost done. Okay, I've taken a longer route, but just to be precise in my answer to him is, it's us versus them. You know, it has never been them fighting for us. It has been them, you know, just fighting for their selfish ends and gains. But now, any Kenyan who doesn't look at himself as the rest of us, he's the one on the wrong side of history. That's just my thought on that. Lala?
So basically, we have two tiers of a nation. We have a calibrated system that is above there, and then we have another calibrated system down here. There now we have to choose which god to go with, and whatever. For them, for us, we are just here, just fight. I mean, just looking at them. So there's two systems of Kenya.
Yes, yes. We the people versus them, the political class,
Oh, can
and
I
their
step in?
proxy, and everyone else who is affiliated to them.
Oh, yes. Hi, Mama Selena. It's good to see you there. Nilikuona. Nilikuwa nataka kuchallenge Mato kidogo tu. You mentioned names of young people who are there. You asked us to narrate or to give names of those who are not old. But I think Kenyan's problem is corruption and tribalism. I think whether they're young or old, as long as you allow tribalism and corruption, nothing is going to change. It doesn't matter if you bring new people, the whole thing will stay on. Yes, we have been disappointed by these old people because they never changed, okay? And many of them should go. But when we talk about elected office and others, corruption will fuel the system, okay? Tribalism is part of it. And so you find people being recycled over and over again who should not be there. The constitution is not followed. So people use the government as a road to riches and power. Because right now, businesses are not the source of revenue. Even if you do business, it has to be the government. So when the private sector is not working, when the system has fallen and failed, you cannot expect true changes to take place. If the constitution is followed carefully and we do the right thing, then wananchi watakuwa na the voice, not the government. But right now it's the other way around. We are not the one calling the shots, but they are doing it. Okay, so I think strengthening our voices so that we can be the one calling shots, whether we want an old man to run or a young person to run, but we the people are in charge of this. So I think we are fighting hidden systems that using anything there to get what they want. Women we have seen women as potential people to run the role because they are mothers, wanapenda watoto. But we also seen corrupt women, very many of them. So I think if we start separating ourselves, these are the young, these are the old, we will be in serious problem. Yes, those who have been marginalized, the youth have not been empowered, we must. And they should know they are the voice. They are the ones who should be running the show. And so I think we got to qualify some of our statements so that we don't discriminate other people, but we go for the best in all of us so that we can save our nation. That's what I wanted to say, just to highlight that. Not much of a disagreement, but I just want to point out Ayo Maneno, which I think can be.
Okay, Lala.
But Lala, I agree with you, but also, when we start talking, and one thing that
anasema hivi, we are summing up, so tunaanzia kwa mama akitupea, tukipenda closing remarks, tukirotate hivyo tukienda.
I think it's just a
let mama speak.
Since Matu
opened
that debate,
I wanted to throw something there after Lala, please.
Acha mama aongee kwanza, and then we will throw kifunga tukienda. Mama Selina.
Yes. ine imo ochi. You can just put up.
Nimeingia, sijui hata mumefika wapi. Niliingia ya kwanza and then I was cut off kidogo. Sasa nimerudi na nakuta munaendelea, but ningetaka nijue what was the topic. Naona ama ni mambo hiyo imekuwa wapi Western na nini ingine na Miguna sijui. I don't want kutapatapa. So can I listen first?
Okay, sawa. Mwenye mkoro twende. Ukimalizia.
Sasa unaona umenitupanisha sasa. Umenitupa. I was on a chain of thought of something. But anyway, let me try and recoup it. My recouping is that what Lala said, and I agree with Lala with a little bit, not really completely, entirely. I agree with him maybe 98%, but I think kuna kasumba ambao tumekuaga tumewekewa as a country, and almost especially the third world countries, or what is called a third world country, which I've never understood how a third world country can be. Through my age yote tumefika where we are now. Lala, one thing I don't agree, and is very controversial, of what you said, female leadership, I have no problem with it at all. Male leadership, I have no problem with it. The only problem that I have is the mindset of those people who are going to be in leadership. And what is leadership? Is leadership money making? Because people will kill because they don't want to go there because they are leaders. They want to win so that they can make money. And that is the problem that we have. There's a president, I can't remember, and maybe people in the comment section will remind me, of a certain country that really refused to get anything. And there was some videos some time back that this guy actually alikuwa nakaa kwa, he was the president of that country. Maybe the people in the comment section, you can help me out. I just can't remember. But where he just alikuwa na katinga na tukuku na anafanya nini, and he never gained this presidential escorts na nini and stuff like that. He was just I think he's rated, that Google rated the poorest president in the whole world. But his country was moving on because at that point is public service. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat about public service. Public service is not for you kwenda kutoka, you're a doctor, you're in private practice, and then you come into public service, then ati sasa upewe nini. So even this two-third gender rule, kwangu mi naonanga ikiwa ufala. And I've said it here many times again. Governance is not made of how many women are there. Governance is not made of how many men are there. Governance is not made of how many doctors. Governance is not made of how many engineers. Governance is not made of how many lawyers that you yani, kwanza sisi ukiangalia kila maloya wote tu wanataka kwa huko hivyo. No, na kwanza wakifika huko hivyo, instead of making law, which they know it very well, the constitution, they know the constitution very well, hata tukiwapatia wote kwa parliament, they go, instead of making the laws, what are they fighting for? They are fighting for CDF, the individual kitties to get money. It's not about the money. It's not about that is not their law. I mean, their mandate according to the constitution. They're supposed to make the laws. They are paid already. Lakini mkijaribu kuguza CDF hivi ndio wamekimbia. Mkijaribu kuongelesha nini ndio wamekimbia. Yani, I don't understand how the governance is. Some of the most developed countries, those people do not have any kitties of themselves. No, any person goes to them to tell them at is due to Saidie 1, 2, and 3. Some of them even don't have these road shows. I mean, there's no place to have a road show. Everybody is busy doing their own thing. All they are mandated is to go and make the laws that need to be made, something that is not working, and that's it. And you go home and you sleep and you walk the streets, and no one will ever even know that you are who you are. The problem with our African countries is that we've made the government be a money-making thing. That even if you are a lawyer, you'd rather not go to your law firm, but go to the parliament, because you will know how to make money from there. And how are you making money from there? You're using the taxpayers and using the laws that are being made. You're waiting for just a certain tender to get another tender through proxies. And the funny thing, I call Wakenya wajinga, because you're seeing this happening, you know it, you know everything, but again, guess what? You're going to allow that, talk about it, and they know you will talk about it. Wacha waongee, watanyamaza, and whatever. The only thing I like about the Gen Z movement is that they started actually bringing these people to the limelight. Now, you can go even to someone like Morara, yes, but who's Morara? Morara, remember, the father was who? But at least for him, he went a certain different way and started actually showing where the problem is. Because if these things, not as Morara, even there's a lot of people who have started really now looking at the civic education. Kujua, like, unakuja unatudanganya hapa, and then you disappear and no one will say. Social media is the reason right now they are trying to cut the social media in Africa. I mean, in Africa and mostly in Kenya, they are trying because they are realizing that it's starting to expose them. You'll find, Mr. Chairs, I'm just about to finish. My last one. You'll find a place like Marsabit or even Nairobi, you would find where someone comes, yes, the media is there, KTN is there, KBC is there, they say tumeweka, naweka, tumeweka. Then you never even show, hakuna mali utaja the completion of that project. So basically, the reason right now they're trying to kick out social media and fighting social media so much is because it's exposing them, because the people with such a phone. I mean, if you guys don't play, or if you guys play, you will find that they will ban inaitagwa smartphone. They will take it out because it's exposing everyone, even the police. Kuzi wanaogopa hiyo kitu. Basically, what I'm trying to say, politics aside, let's look at the whole social political fabric of what we are doing, because hatutakuwa tukiendelea kudanganywa, and people have said no is no. We're done. Back to you.
Thank you.
Can I say one thing about nimesikia Mato ameongea sasa. Mato,
Yes, mama.
Hii generation, I want to talk about this generation. Na I want to talk about tumedanganywa. Umeongea about social media, umeongea about the phones. Wacha nikwambie, hapa America, Trump ameplast all the medias, alipaki na Fox News, ndio ilikuwa inamfavor. So, a lot of people na juicy akasema aliwin because of the TikToks, na walifunga kidogo na wakafungua. One thing, Mato, is nilisikia anasema tumemalizwa. Ulisema the groups, Kalonzo, now let's go like Gachagua. Sisi wote tulikuwa tunaongea about Makanga na driver. Then, over sudden, Makanga aka drop out. And then in not even 1 week, amekuwa hero. Is the one now fighting to put kuweka rais ama kutengeneza chama yenye watachirigroup ndio wachukue Kenya. Now I'm asking this. we have the people. I'm not saying old because I'm old too, and cold is cold. So ni mzuri kukua msee kwa sababu umeona mengi, lakini nataka kuuliza Mato, Kenyans, niambie sasa nini mzuri imepatikana kwa Gachagua yenye hakutufanyia in 2 years in office. Ile corruption yote anatuambia aliambiwa, na unaona Kenyans are following him. So don't you think hii unasema hatutadanganywa, Gachagua anafanya nini? This grouping, ile kitu ningekubali ni kwamba Kenya tuko na kabila mbili, wenye wako nayo na wala hawana, na sisi wala hatuna ni wengi, na kwa sababu tutakubali kuletewa 500, 1000, tutapika makofi. So hii watu yote ni adui mchana, lakini usiku they eat in the same table. Unataka kuniambia interest ya Gachagua na ya Uhuru na ya Ruto na ya Raila na ya Kalonzo na wale wote wako nayo, do you think kuna moja anakubali mtu kama Murara ama mtu mwenye akuja awakalie kwa mali yake? So I think Kenyans, ile kitu tumemiss ni moja. Hii mambo yote tunaongea is good, but now let me tell you as Mato, hata tukierefuka, where are we going? Where is the IBC? Tunaenda kupiga hiyo kura wapi? Who are these people? Do they have time for us to know them? And not about the chairmans. Watu wanaongea about commissioners. Commissioners wanakuja. Kuna IBC, the secretariat, the Marchan, and the rest. Like now we are talking, in 2 years they know watatoa happy ballot papers, watakuwa na friendly, nani atawin that tender. Do you know as a Kenyan person now? Marchan akiwa office and the group, what are they doing? Okay, kama hatuna election, is IPC close? No, it is working. So sisi, a lot of time is wasted. Ile makesi imechaa kotini. I think Kenyans, tungewachana na hii mambo yote. Mambo ya political parties, you cannot win, that is the fieko. Ukiona Republican na Democrat hapa, red state and blue state, you cannot change them. Hata wakiweka nini, they will vote for them because they believe in what they are. So sisi wa Kenya kwanza, if we want democracy, ama nyinyi vijana, if you want to change the country, the first thing you do, ndiye tuone kura iko wapi. Chatiso and your brother, tuambie mambo ya IBC. How will you handle it? How will you get a Marchan out of that office? How will you get the people who are earning? They are elected, they are in office, 291 constituencies. Those people, they are not accountable to anybody. Wako chini ya Marian. If they say in every ward, we want 100 votes stolen, how will you know? The creation of new polling station, you as a Kenyan, how do you know? So we are kura, kama watu wamefanya election, like the way they are proud because those people are in their hands. Kumbuka Raila alisema hata ndugu ya Raila akakuwa chairman ya IEBC, he will still win election because the person in IEBC, Chuluba Mungine, is there. The Marian is there. So if you GNCs who are serious na mumesoma and you have technology, now did the server open? Tangu 2013 or 2013, hatujaichua story ya server. Every year inaisha, it has never been closed. We have never seen the results. Now we have only 2 years to 2027. You don't know what happened in 2017, what happened in 2022. Ata commissioner hawajai kutuambia ile election ya constituencies ilikuwa aje. So Mato, with our good English, with our good mobilization, if we don't deal with this giant, this animal, this called IEPC, the secretariat, you don't know them. Our ni government, and they serve the government of the day. Now 2025 itaisha kabla hatujapatiwa commissioners, and then they come in 1 year or 8 months to election. What will they do? Marianne could have decided everything, and they know where is the weak place, where to do anything. So let me leave there. I cannot talk about anything else unless you guys, you come up, tell me, because mutuambie how will we work on it? How will you get Marchan out of office and the rest? Whistleblower ula alituambia kura ako ndani ya IBC. What did Kenyan do? Tulinyamaza. And now munapika kelele. Nothing will happen. They will continue. The rich people kama munataka kuweka hivyo. So if you are serious, give me that answer and then we continue talking. Otherwise, story ya hii group ingine yote tulishindwa. If we cannot tackle that, nothing else we can do. Thank you.
Asante mama. Na pia hata mkichagua commissioners, they have no power because 7-4-3 bado inashinda tu. So it's like commissioners really just a rubber stamp there because they don't. What's their job? If they could not give us an election by their vote, which is the job of a commission, because commission are supposed to be voting to decide on anything they work on, and if that doesn't work, then what's their purpose? So asante Mama Selena.
Yeah, one more.
Can I say something?
Lala, 1 minute and then you say. Chebukati ako na PA kama Ruto vile ako na PA na kila mtu ako na PA. What is the role of a PA? Kupepa file? But Chebukati PA yake ndiye alikuwa na rolled kwa IBC na commissioners tumewalipa. Na Chebukati he came up and say, my PA amekuja na results. What did you Kenyans do? The Marchan, the PA, na wale secretariat, they decide everything. So now, tell us. Me, I'm ready to listen. But kama munaenda barabara, munaongea hii yote, kabila nini, it's nothing.
Okay, let me interject on that part of the commissioners. Na nyinyi mniambie, how many commissioners are there? 7, right? Agreed? Rhetorically. Agreed. 7. How many constituencies do we have? Do these people even actually go to the constituencies? No, they are just there. So basically, where am I asking this? No matter nimesema, it's a rhetorical question. The IBC, the commission is live. It's always been there. The people, these 7 we are talking about, hata kwanza we don't even need them in a certain way. In my own kind of way of looking, we don't even need them because they don't do anything. These are just guys who are paid to stay in Nairobi and wait for results from the people coming from your constituency, coming from your kijiji and whatever to tally. I don't know what they are tallying. If you elect your mtu wenyu huko ushago, councillor or whatever you want to call it, MCA, bas, it's done. If you go to the constituency, imeishia hapo. Hii ingine ya national, it just need to be this mtu moja tu, not 7. Mtu moja, what are you doing 7 and why are you doing odd? So me, I don't even see their job because these guys have never even gone anywhere to go get any, what you call, pull any results from anywhere. They don't do anything. Wanakaga tu hapo. Hivi. And then you pay them for how many years? For their tenure, I think it's what? Is it 7? Somebody can correct me. 7 years of their tenure. And they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. just sitting waiting for the next election, doing nothing. The boundaries, we haven't done them even in 10 years. I mean, what boundaries are they doing? Are they the ones that actually doing it? I think we should just have one person. These 7 things should just disappear, because, or even not even have one person, just have a body of a constituted body that is about this the IEBC, because what was squeezy wanasema ati, oh, we don't have an constituted IEBC. I mean, what don't we have? We have IEBC working today. Look at your budget system. I think this is section, I don't know what, probably in Tawatumia, section something, I think 267 or something. They are there of the budget. They're given a budget, an allocation. Why are you allocating to people who are not there? Kuna watu wamelipwa, tembea hapo kando utapata kuna mtu amelipwa na mnapatanaga kwa barabara. Yeye hata hakuna kitu anafaa kuwa anafanya saa hizi. They don't even have an office. Do you have an office at your home uko nyumbani kwenyu? Do you have an office? Do you have an office in Nairobi of IEBC? Hata ile wanaendanga pale ibo kwenda kujifanya they are paid. What are they paid to do? Elections should be done venye ilikuwa inafanywa kitambo. You get people to count.
Mato,
That's it.
Mato, that argument may be very dangerous. The one because that's what the Supreme Court may use to dismiss their commission. Okay, they may not know what they are doing. I mean, but the idea behind the commission is that everything is not left for chance by one person's voice. Even in law, I think you have to be crucified based on more than 3 witnesses, at least 3 witnesses. So the idea behind a commission in any system.
Give me the job description. Give me the job description. Give me the job description of the 7 commissioners. Give me the job description.
I'm talking about a commission, the role of a commission. A commission is putting several eyes to look at what is going on, so that they are independent thoughts and they look at the same document and they all concur together, just like a bench of judges. You can have one judge, but sometimes they put 3 of them because of the complexity of the whole thing. It is supposed to bring actually clarity to everything else.
But that's also a scam. When you talk, Lala, listen to me. And sorry, Mr. Chairs. No, Lala, listen to me this one, because I'm about to leave.
That was the idea behind a commission. A lot of, whether in the US where you live in, the counties are run by a commission. Usually commissions are people that are either elected or appointed, so that they can look at a wide range of what is going on, so that when they meet together, you can't say that this was bribed because they did A, B, C, D. You know, that's the behind the commission. But if it's not working correctly, the Kenyan situation is where it's misused. For example, a 7 has to have a vote, and the vote was 4 versus 3. There is no way you can go with a 3, not a 5. That's
but Lala, you're not getting me. You're not getting me. A commission is supposed to be. It has to have a time for something.
Mato, the commissioners, they don't have a say kwa Marjan, the secretariat. Unajua, commissioners are right to be there. Wanangoja yale imeletwa na secretariat, hawa wanakaa chini. What we are losing is this. Mimi nataka wewe muniambie, hii watu wamekaa ofisi. Umeanza vizuri ukasema, watu ya wanaitwa secretariat, they don't have even offices in the village. Na wanapata mshahara na ni permanent and pensionable. They don't change. Nje nilikuwa nataka kama Kenya tuulize, these people 291, apart from commissioners wakiingia office, mwenye anapanga mambo ya commission ni secretariat. Wenye wanapanga mahali wanachukua ballot papers ni secretariat, Temarchan. Commissioner anaenda, ni kama commissioner wana sit, wanaambiwa this is what we have done, and even so far, the commissioner himself now, Chebukati, is the one having friendly with the secretariat. So, Wewe Mato, you are fighting people who don't have a say. Theirs is to come only. Ulisikia wakati walikuwa naenda kuangalia London, kuambiwa pandeni ndege, muende muone makartasi. Walifika already kama iko airport. The job was to escort them. So me, I'm saying, badala ya sisi kuongea, one, atutaki commissioners hata wakireplaciwa 2 weeks to election. It is okay. But the people we want to deal with is to get the right people, the civil servants. And by the way, let me say this. Nasikia wale watu yote, 90% or 70% come from one tribe. So what are you talking about? So we don't even talk about commissioners. Those people wanakuja tu count na wanasit na wanafanya kazi yao. But the officer akona 200. That is a big role. Hiyo ni ofisi mzima ya serikali. Why can't we change these people? Kama wakati tunafanya mtihani, wakati ya kutik mtihani wanaenda kupik watu, wanakaa chini. They don't take from the same place. Wanakaa chini, wana correct mtihani ikiisha, their role is done. The other year will go to other people. Why not these people in the office? Kwa nini election after election we disband the whole?
Umeileta home, mami, umeisema vizuri sana. A commission is just for part of a period. Ni kama invigilators venye umeisema. Mnakuja mnafanya mtihani yenu, mnashikilia mtihani inafanyika and then you disappear. But the teachers will always be there. But also, lakini pia our teachers wa IEBC. What is the role of IEBC? Unajua lazima tuanze kuangalia, cause also when you talk about commission, lazima kila mtu ajue what a commission is. A commission is something that is actually found, brought to investigate a certain matter or to do something kitu fulani. Once it's done, go home. Lakini sisi wako na kakaria kwa commission. And so you don't understand, like even when you, yeah.
Mato, I think you're missing the point. IBC is an independent commission, which the anatomy is, as per the constitution, 7 commissioners make up the commission. But of course, it has the larger body, the CEO, and everyone who works for IBC. But the logic, just to echo what Lala was saying before, the logic behind having 7 commissioners, is the same one. It's the same one that is applied when forming the Supreme Court. We don't have one judge sitting in the Supreme Court. We have 7, and they listen to the cases, and then.
But brother, that's a very educated way of siphoning money from the people, because I can ask you, after independence, after election, any election that we go through, after that, what are their job? Okay, even this Supreme Court that you're talking about, Supreme Court actually is basically there to deal with elections, basically. So mostly, lakini after that, what are they there doing? What is their day to day? What is the job criteria?
Do a little research, please.
Yeah, I think.
No, I have done, Lala. I'm not talking about something that I don't know. I've been doing this research for so long to ask myself, because, and I'm not talking something that I don't know. I know somebody that is actually somewhere. I can't say what, but they tell me, you see me, I'm okay. They're always on vacation. Not vacation. They're farming out there until they are called, oh, there's a matter here. But then they're getting paid every time. That is what Mama Selina was also trying to say. Huwezi lipa invigilator for a whole year to wait for the next exam.
No, Mato, that's where you are wrong, because we are looking at it the way Kenyan practice it. We're talking about a commission, what it's supposed to do. We are here to fight for a system that is working for us. So we have to look at the commission, not the way it has been used by some people. That would be even one person, you put him in there. Basically, this man, whatever Chebukati, acted the way you are thinking. He went there to decide it himself, not those commission. So they decide, that's why we are in a problem like this. But if those commissions were doing their job they're supposed to do, there was no way Ruto, we had that Ruto.
And I want you to ask me yes or no. Let me ask you a question. Do we have an election this year?
Pardon?
Do we have an election this year?
Do we have an election?
Yeah,
No,
this year.
we don't have
Ngoja
election.
Mama Selina kidogo, acha kwanza ni kuna kitu there's something nafuata kwa hii lala ndio anielewe kitu yenye ulikuwa ukisema Mama Selina na kitu yenye nasema, because I'm on one side with Mama Selina. Mimi niko team ya Mama Selina what she was saying, but I want to pull this home. Okay.
No,
Lala, did we no, just answer. Don't
be fair here.
just answer.
Let's look at the US. Look at the US.
No,
The
I'm
US
talking Kenya.
Secretary of
I'm not
State-
talking about. I'm not talking.
No, let
I'm
me
not.
give you an example because
I'm
I
not.
think they could confuse
Just answer
Kenyans
the
here.
question, Baba.
Yeah.
Yes, Mato, we have an election this year. Yeah, Football Kenya Federation.
Yeah.
Yeah, FKF. Yeah, it's still IBC who conducts those elections.
Okay. Did we have an election last year?
Yes.
Of what?
It's FKF still. My point is they don't just do political elections. They also LSK was last year. Yeah, it's still them who
Is it run by IEBC?
Yes, go and check. That's why I'm telling you with all
No,
respect.
LSK they have their own voting kind of system. They don't. It's not. They don't use IEBC.
Lala
No, it's not IEBC. Where watch Azako.
It does sound like it.
Now,
Go and check.
you are confusing voters. Mato, what we are saying, tukipingana sisi sasa, wenye wanatusikiza watasikia nini? We are saying this. Mimi nimesimama election Nakuru kama member of parliament. Wakati nilienda IPC Nairobi, the commissioner, you cannot, unaenda Nairobi kupeleka your papers, unaenda kupata ofisi CEO na group yake secretaries ya 290 constituencies. You cannot see a commissioner there because hiyo si kasi yao. Mwenye ana verify your papers, where you come from, una collect supporters yako, you go to IPC. Kwa IPC kuna hii watu sasa, hakuna mtu anataka kuongea about them. This is the people I'm talking about. Commissioner anakuja saa ile kasi yote imemalizwa na Marjan.
Mama, and that's also a mistake that we have done.
Yes.
Because let's look at in the US. Each state has Secretary of State, okay? And those Secretary of State also act on behalf of the election. So they are the ones. So at 24 hours, all year round, there is somebody there to register and do that work, okay? In the Office of Secretary of State, okay? So it is almost. It has been.
It's done by volunteers. They are not employed anywhere. They are volunteers.
No, volunteers are only needed during the election time, okay? Those are volunteers. But the people responsible for the Secretary of State, that is part of the job that the US
office.
Yes, and you can register any time of the year, okay? When you do your driver's license, you can register. When you become a citizen of the United States, they are there to register you, okay? So it is something that has been built into the system. So it is not one big
But that's
office.
the government buildings. Like when you go to Nairobi, when you go to the Department of Finance, there are people who are employed there. There are people who are employed to make sure. I mean, immigration. There is why we have these departments. It's a departmental thing.
Mato, I agree with you. It should be done better. We should do a better job in terms of this idea of having this big office, one office there. I think that should be done away with. There are ways that we can be able to change things.
My argument is, after election of 5 years, the secretariat wale wameconduct that election, they should be disbanded. And then now, this man called secretary, the person now, Hulana kama Marjan now, is the one doing, wanasema pesa wanataka, they are doing everything. And those are the people unanunua. If you have the secretariat, if you have those people in your hand, you will win election.
Okay.
If you afford to buy Marchan, then anajua mali anatoa ballot papers, anajua ile extra, because the commissioner, the commissioner, kama tulikuwa na 20 million registered ballots, alafu huyu Marchan anasema, oh, tunaweza taka another 4 million kwa sababu kuna spoil votes. Wakati commissioner anaenda kuverify, anaambiwa kama hii ilikuwa ya sahi, kulikuwa na 2 ballots. Wanauliza, hii ballot ingine itaenda wapi? Iblala, you use one, and Selina use one, and everybody here use one. The rest of the ballot papers, where itaenda wapi? Na baada election, who will show us kutuambia ile walilete extra hii kufanya kazi? So this person, secretariat, yeye ndiye analete extra, awezi kutuambia in this election tulikuwa na maybe 20 million register ballot papers, tulitumia 15 million, 5 million ndio hizi, and the serial numbers are this, and it is returned. Ama tulitumia 3 million kwa ile imekuwa spoil. So hii ballot extra ndio inafanyanga mtu ana win election, na mwenye anafanya hiyo mambo ni huyo secretariat. Commissioner ajui, commissioners they don't know, but the chairman of IPC chu anapanga na secretariat. Those are the people they rig election. That is what I'm saying, because nimekuwa huko and I've seen, na nimesimama, nimeweka makaratasi yangu, and I know what they did to me. So I'm saying this as one of a victim. Lakini sisi wa Kenya tunaongea about commissioners.
Lakini unaona mami mali niko na shida na hii kitu yote, na shedi kidogo shedizo kama dawa. Wacha kidogo tu ya mwisho kabisa, because I need to leave. Mami, you see, that's the problem, because when we are not defining even a ballot. A ballot is ni kitu mtu amesign na akasema nimechagua hii kitu. An empty ballot is an empty ballot. The other thing that I don't have I do really have a big problem now, why is it that Kenya cannot print its own ballot, yet we are so sophisticated to print so many things of ours? So basically, sasa ukisema ati huyu ndo ataenda aseme hii ballot ilikuja na haikufika hapa, kwa nini kwanza tulinunua hiyo ballot kama haijasainiwa? Na kama tulinunua, we had a budget. Na hata tukinunua, we supposed to buy it from our own, not countries zingine. And then unaniambia ballot, mtu akuja achague kule ballot zienda. So you give me a good reason why I should go vote kama najua hizi ballot zenye hata hizo zingine zenye zilinunuliwa, if it's not a scam, tell me why nafaa kwenda hata kuvote.
Mato, I think let's not confuse Kenyans. Number one, a commissioner is like an ambassador. Commissioners are the one who should have voices stronger than the secretariat. Okay, so when Kenyans work as if the commissioners don't count, I think it is wrong. I think that's where the criminality people begin to question what really went on with the election. If you want to change, volunteer, where Mato you're raising, that's perfectly fine. We have to change the system, but if we let the commissioners under separate office, then it has to work well. And my point here is that I don't think it's necessary the way it is arranged. I think we could decentralize the whole idea of having this national office and work the way the US has done it, where when it's done at the local level, the election is done. We give the numbers there, so that we don't have to have this so-called corrupt secretariat that is actually messing us up under the so-called the chair. You see, the chair was there to usurp the power of the commission, which it should not. Under the commission, they are all co-equal, except for that is just chairing. So but that man, should not have discounted the views of the other four. And everybody I talked with educating me on this, non-Kenyans and others that are reviewing it and wondering what is the purpose of a commission. So clearly that was not, whatever was done there was not constitutional, it was wrong, it was illegality that Kenyans let go. That's why we have a problem. That, Mama Selena, I agree with you. We have to do something about this so-called IEBC, or else our talks here is just a waste of time, because they're going to do what they want. They've decided
Lala,
what they want.
Lala, tell me the IBC of the United States, and I mean, we just had a inauguration of a president.
They don't
What's
have
the
it, because it is put. The states themselves have the Secretary of State. When the election is finished down there, the number is counted. In fact, that secretary is responsible for the state secretary is responsible for that election. They can go to court. You remember what happened in Georgia with that Trump wanted extra vote there. The man said no, but the man was challenged in court because he was responsible for the state activity there. So there was nothing national. So you can go challenge, if you want to challenge somebody, go to where this county, go to the state, go to the council, but there's nobody called Chebukati in the US. It doesn't exist. Whoever the Chebukati is actually going to the Supreme Court to go fight it over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that submission. Let me listen to Douglas as give his closing remarks as we wind up.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to. Okay, this issue of IBC is confusing. So I think the best way we should think about it is to just think of the commissioners as the board of any company, and the secretariat, what Mama Selina is calling Matjan, is the CEO, the office that was previously held by Chiloba. The CEO is appointed by the commissioners, so there's no way he can have a bigger voice than the commissioners themselves. So
No, the CEO
is an appointee of the commissioners. Okay, so is only comes off as powerful and influential in the commission because he runs the day-to-day activities of just like in any other company. The CEO is in charge of the daily operations of a company, so he might be aware of what exactly is going on. He is the person that anyone, like you're saying, you approach them, is the point of contact. When you go when you walk into any company, you don't meet the chairman of that company. You probably don't even know him. You meet the CEO of that company. But at the end of the day, it's the board that makes all the vital decisions concerning the company. So we don't have a functional IBC so far because commissioners were not picked. For commissioners to be picked, I think the president appoints a selection panel. So a selection panel was to be appointed. Then I don't know, there has been a mix-up. I don't know if that is part of the bigger plot to rig elections, to lock out young people from registering as voters. We really hope, IBC is our only hope. If you're not going to go the Burkina Faso way, then IBC is our only hope for us to bring in a better governance system, to bring in more accountable leaders. Since I'm giving my final remarks, something else I would just love to pass across is, last time when we were here, we were with Mato and Lala. I think we were all here, including Mama Selina, and you guys asked me since I'm a Gen Z, what are some of the leaders, Gen Z leaders that I would, would want to be led by? And for us, we don't really care about age or tribe or any demo, any group. What we care about is leaders who are accountable. And if you were up to me, if I had a magic wand or I was omnipotent for a day, I would make Maraga president without blinking an eye. Because he's demonstrated that kind of leadership that this country desperately needs. A leader who is completely has integrity and will uphold the rule of law.
Miss another ziada. I want to bring it to an end like that because the time is so much so fast spent. Kesho tukuje mapema, tusingoje na chelewa ndio tunataka kuanza kuongea sana. Today I've been humble and I give you time to talk until I beat it. Siku interact mtu yote. Give the humble time to speak so that you can share a view, although you came late. But tomorrow I hope we'll come early. We'll give up a better turn up and we'll give up a better response. So I don't have any word speaking here to leave you with one word. Everyone, you are the one who you are, unless you don't believe it. Goodbye.
You are watching Sound Candy Talk live.